You said, ho, ho.
Welcome as we will be presenting high school football coming your way, the Town Jug game. Elgin playing host to Larkin on this particular Friday night. We tape delay for you on October 24th with the replay for you tonight. Larkin against Elgin, the 9th week of the season. Yours truly, Jeff Myers, along with John Prigge. And John, after a season where the weather was incredible, this is the worst weather night of the year.
It is, and it's still a playable game. We've had rain all day, a pretty steady drizzle all day, but the field looks in great shape after the sophomore game, and again, with it being a little cool, it's going to probably hold the mud down a little bit, which could be a benefit to the Elgin Maroons, I feel.
Still an exciting game. It will be. Larkin, of course, now with 3 losses as we enter this game. Their playoff situation somewhat in doubt, and as you watch this game on a Tuesday or Thursday night here on Jones Intercable, you know the outcome of that already. The Maroons, after a good start, John Prigge, 3-1, have hit the skids in recent weeks.
Well, they're in the midst of a 4-game losing streak right now. They've run into a big part of their schedule that was predicted to be a very tough part. If they win this game tonight, they will finish the season 1 game below 500. But of course, Jeff, as everybody knows, this is a pride game. This is strictly for the Maroons, a pride game. For Larkin, it is absolutely a must-win game. So there's inspiration on both sides.
Yes, indeed, there is. As we look at the Royals on the far side of the field, they are the visitors, so they are on the far eastern side of Memorial Field on this night. If you were at this game on the Friday, October 24th, you know it was a Money Magazine night, and there was lots of extra activity with that, and at the culmination of the game, there was a fireworks display as well. We see the men in striped shirts as they get ready to go. We had an exciting preliminary game to this, John Prigge, that was won by the young Royals by a final tally of 6-0. And again, this is just a lot of pride, as you mentioned, a lot of emotion. These kids know each other so well. You've got not a great crowd here tonight with the weather, but you have a, east versus west and a lot of conversation going on.
Absolutely. And this is the 35th anniversary of this first classic matchup. The first one taking place October 18th of 1962, but this is the 36th game in the Elgin-Larkin rivalry history. The second game was in 1990, and that was a playoff game that the Larkin Royals won 22-21. Again, that was back in the fall of 1990. Jeff Myers, there's been some outstanding games between these two teams, close games, and besides the crosstown rivalry, some games that have really meant a lot to the season and meant a lot to the playoff season for both of these teams.
Yes, it has as you look through the history of it, as you made mention there. Also for the Maroons, it's their final home game of the year, and they will not be involved in the playoffs, so it was senior night. So that also brought out all the parents of the players, the cheerleaders, the coaching staff, the pom-poms, and things like that. On the far side, as we continue to look at the Royals as they dance now the Maroons into your screen in this situation, we're getting lengthy introductions here as they delayed the start of the game a little bit to make sure some of the extra pageantry, if I can say that, John Prigge, of this final night for the Maroons and potentially for the Royals takes place. So everybody getting a chance to hear their name coming across the PA system here at Memorial Field.
Well, and that's just the way it should be. This is really what, if you want to call Elgin a big town, you can. You can call it a small town if you want. I've always referred to Elgin as being the smallest big city in the state of Illinois, and this is really what it's all about. You've got local introductions, you've got the pageantry, you've got the band playing, you've got the Money humongous tent set up in the north end zone here as Money Magazine says goodbye to Elgin. Also, fireworks are going to be coming at the end of the game, I believe, so this is a big game in more ways than one, not only for the records, but for the hearts of the fans who have been supporting both Elgin and Larkin all year long.
We see the introduction. That was Teddy Bedford. You saw down there, Teddy, the great linebacker, fullback who started the season with a bang offensively and hasn't picked up the yards as much. You see some of the Larkin crowd on the far side now as our Jones Intercable cameras get a chance to look into what really is a sea of darkened blue on this rainy night. The temperature did drop about 30 degrees in recent days, I guess, and lots of showers here on this night. So we're just not used to the traditional fall football weather.
No, especially this year. We've had some great games weather-wise. We even had one game where I think T-shirts and shorts were the appropriate attire. Although, now well, look at it. We're at the end of October, and this is football weather. This is the crispness that you like, especially when you're in a heated booth.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're cozy up here, no question about that. We also Had wonderful food come our way from Larry Gerber, the barbecue man. We'll tell you more about that later. We're just about ready for the door to be slammed and the official game to get underway, for heaven's sakes. You know, that's the authoritative process there. As we get ready to go, you see the camera moving around there, seeing some of the Royals as they look to the north end of the field there. We are going to see the Maroons receiving. That'll be Roby and Walker as they are in deep tandem. And the Royals will kick off here shortly, and we'll get this town jug game underway here, John Fricke.
Justin Loloff for the Royals to kick off. He had a rough going at the last game against Lake Park, but I'm sure he's looking to redeem himself, starting with this kickoff from Larkin's own 40.
Here's Justin, going to approach that football right now, and here it is. The town jug game for the 35th time takes place. Going to be a short kick returned by one of the up men for the Maroons, and he's brought down quickly. Check that number there, John Fricke.
Lars Pedersen, who's been a big part of this Maroon team all year long, was on the early upside there, and he'll get the ball out to, looks like the Elgin Maroon 36-yard line.
Lars wearing number 22, the 6-foot senior, is a wide receiver. There we're going to see quarterback Todd Bentley and the troops, and the first offensive play for the Maroons will take place here, and we're underway here on this soggy Friday night for tape delay broadcast here on Jones Intercable. If you're watching on Tuesday night, you can see it once again on Thursday, October 30. First snap, going to hand it off to Teddy. Bedford met at the line and is refusing to go down, but not going to pick up much yardage. He won't go down, finally falls forward for about 2 yards.
Well, a lot of G-forces down on that initial hit. Jamie Luzinski's been a big part of the Larkin Royal team. In my opinion, I think he's knocking on the door of all conference honors, and he and Bedford just kind of rode each other down a little bit.
It's going to take offensive possession of the football by the Maroons, who are a solid underdog in this game. They have not won this game since 1992. Elgin hasn't. They've lost the last 4 years by scores of 28-0, 27-14, and 40-zip, and 42-15. Here we're going to go from the shotgun it is here. Bentley shouts it out. He drops back. They almost too hot to handle. In fact, he doesn't get it. He's going to corral it, and let's see if he gets away with that. No intentional grounding because he was out of the pocket.
Yep. No, they threw the flag.
They will give him that. Obviously, you saw it. The snap from center too hard for Bentley to handle, and that's when the tomfoolery began.
Well, I think on a cold night like this, Jeff, you're going to see some stiff fingers not only on the quarterback, but you're also going to have it from your center, who's got the big responsibility of getting that ball back to the quarterback.
That'll be a loss of down, of course, set up for a 3rd and long for the Maroons. Not what they wanted to do here. Let's see where they mark this pigskin, as Larkin will be happy to get their hands on the football. Coming off what we broadcast on the night of October 17th, it would have been radio-wise, that incredible 3-overtime session, Larkin and Lake Park, a game that went on forever. Larkin losing 44-38 in that game, but what a game it was for all Royal players and fans on that night.
It was a big emotional game, and in a game that many of the people that are here tonight remember with great fondness and with sleepy eyes.
Yeah, that was something. I had to take a nap, and I went from Saturday night to Tuesday morning, I think, before we ended that nap up. Well, we're going to see once again the Maroons want to go from the shotgun. It's going to be about 3rd and 24 from their own 20 will mark it. There's Bentley with it, looking, going to toss deep if he has time. He's headed our way with it. It is going to be almost received, almost caught at the 25, but then dropped. It was dropped by O'Donnell. That's going to set up a 4th and 24 for the Maroons, and they're going to have to punt it away.
Well, Joel Aromi's been a big part of this team for the Elgin Maroons. We thought, Jeff, in a couple games earlier this year that he indeed was the star of the game. He's made some outstanding kicks, and he's been a big part of Elgin's offense in pinning the opposing team deep in their own zone. So let's see what happens here. We do have a wind that will be going almost into the face of the kicker, Joel Aromi.
Joe is going to boot it away from about his own 5. They're going to lose our camera range with it. The football's not flying. There it is. Joe boots it away. It's going to be a tall kick. It's going to have respectable yardage if he gets a bounce, and he does. It's going to bounce to about the 50-yard line, almost on the nose, just across midfield into Larkin 49.5-yard territory.
Well, for those of you who have not seen Vince Weber run in the Larkin backfield, you've heard all about him. You've probably read a lot of information about him on the newspapers. Here's a chance to watch, I think, a very talented backfield. Sophomore quarterback Matt Shabert, Vince Weber, and Trevan Hayes, the other sophomore running back. This team can be a machine offensively.
So they should be fun to watch. And, of course, as you mentioned, the quarterback, a great thrower as well. So let's see how they will play it there. They've got a couple men in slot, going to toss it there. Shabert does. That is going to be received on the far side by Stan Yarborough. Stanley's going to pick up a few yards there. Yarborough, just a young sophomore that you made mention there. And they really have had some great kids catching the passes.
Dale Shabert, I think, has done a good job in sprinkling in sophomores. One of them is Stan Yarborough. He and his son, Matt Shabert, have known each other for a long time, so they know each other's habits when it comes to the offensive side of the ball.
Going to pick up a 3 on that. 2nd and 7, 47-yard line of Elgin it is. Yeah, the double back's going to hand it off to Weber. Weber's going left. Can he turn the corner? He does. Still going. Goes out of bounds. Nice pickup by Vince. You know, we have to watch the Vince and his search for 1,000 yards marker tonight.
Yes, without a doubt. I mean, Vince, I think, I'm not speaking out of turn and saying this, he's had, I think, a mediocre to maybe slightly dismal year. Sure, he's got a lot of yards, but based on the hype and the predictability that his yardage was going to come big time this year, it hasn't come. He's suffered with an injury, but again, it's a situation where he would like to get 1,000 yards in his high school career.
And what he had there, John Prigge, is coming back because there's a flag against the Royals. So bring that back. It's going to be the hold there against the Royals. And let's see where they mark this football. They're going to end up on about, well, let's see what we have. They still have 2nd down there. It'll be 2nd and about 8.
From the 47.
From about the 47. So it's basically the same line of scrimmage it was from the previous play. Far hash mark it is for the Royals. They've got the I formation, as you can see. Man in motion now. As we look at the quarterback, Shabert going to pitch it back. That's to Vince. Vince is brought down quickly. Nice tackle by Bedford. There's a great matchup.
Yeah, I'll tell you, not only did a great matchup on the field, but off the field as well. These guys went to school together before they went to high school. I think Teddy may have gone to Larkin as a freshman, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken on it, but then Teddy and his family moved to the east side, and a lot of information coming from both sides of town on that Bedford and Weber matchup. 3rd and 10 it will be, just across midfield. Passing situation for Shabert, who's threw 34 times in the Lake Park game on October 17th. So he should be in a passing frame of mind, perhaps looking to his left here. He's going to drop back, look that way, across it goes, tap, but still caught. It is going to be caught. Who is that? Was that John Alesh? John's going to go all the way. It's going to be a 49-yard touchdown pass. Well, a freaky little incident right there, but Alesh, who's been an outstanding receiver for Larkin this year, kept his head, was able to keep concentration, and took it in for a touchdown. The passing combination between Shabert and Yarborough and Shabert and Alesh has been a big part of the Royal success this year. So Alesh it is for John on the tip. 49 yards if you're charting at home. Touchdown, Larkin. Alesh, nice catch that was. We are going to see the extra point, which, as you know, in the week number 8 for the Royals was quite the venture. That'll be Casey Kluckstad with the hold and Justin Loloff with the kick. Here's the placement, the snap. It is going to be good this time. Always difficult to see here, so good it is. 9:11 remaining in the first quarter. Larkin strikes first. They've won the last 4 of these town jug encounters. So the Royals, as expected, on the scoreboard. And again, what Elgin didn't want to do, they needed to get some first downs, hanging on that football, not give it to the Royals with their big strike capability they have. Well, that's exactly right. Larkin, for most people, they have to realize on the Elgin Maroon side that Larkin can strike. They can strike big and they can strike hot and heavy. If not from their offensive side of the ball, they can also strike on defense. We saw a lot of nice picks being made earlier in the year from Trevan Hayes and Turner Pugh, and a lot of those things got taken in for touchdowns on the defense. Yes, indeed. So that's the way things go. So it's going to be booted away once again by the Royals. There you see the clock. That's and the scoreboard. That's brand new, that scoreboard here is Memorial Field there. You saw 9/11 on that. Here on this Money Magazine night, we've got that guy from the Cleveland Indians banging the drum here not too far away from us. I don't know if you can hear it in press row on your television sets at home. Seems like he's nestled in my eardrum. Can you finish the broadcast? I don't know. I'll have to think about it. But we are having fun, as we always do, in our traditional Elgin-Larkin encounter here on Jones Intercable. Getting ready for the boot. There it is, and it's going to be returned this time by Walker. Fumbles it. Can he pick it up? He does, but he's brought down in his tracks. Just across the 20. Well, Trevan Hayes, the very fast back for the Larkin Royals, was able to make that tackle there and set some Maroons down in a kind of a tough position here. A ball on the 20, and they've got to get their offense on board here. That was Shaylon Walker, of course, trying to return that. He's had a couple 100 yards on the season from the line of scrimmage, and is also exciting in the kick situation. The Maroons have just had some trouble scoring in recent times, and they've had some games on the lopsided nature as well. Let's see, Will Bentley will play it. He's going to have wideouts here, just out of your picture at home, a couple of them. He's going to pitch it back to Bedford, who wants to go right, tipping toe across the line of scrimmage. He's going to pick up
Well, a couple yards on the outside there. Let's see where they mark that. Maybe as many as 5, I suppose.
Well, Jimmy Luzinski there again, and you're going to hear his name called out, and you're going to see him making a lot of tackles, or at least being the second man in on a lot of ground gains by the Maroons.
Yes, indeed. And if we don't mention your relatives, friends, loved ones out there, whatever they might be, of course, you're watching them right here on Jones Intercable. These kids, of course, deserve a great salute for playing football the whole season and sticking it out. You know how difficult that is, and how much work it is. Here it is, man in motion from far to near side, as you can see. Bentley calls it out. Going to hand it off to Bedford. Boy, he's in that pile right there, brought down for a loss. Oh, make that check that. That's going to be Roby with the run.
Jimmy Roby with a nice run, or a nice attempt off tackle, was bottled up pretty hot and heavy by the Larkin Royals. You know, Larkin's defense has been played tough against Lake Park as well as they could be expected until that fourth quarter, and it looks like so far they're making some strong statements to the Maroons.
It's going to be 3rd and 6, 25-yard line, just about for the Maroons. 7:55. You might occasionally see some fireworks go off in the background because it's fireworks night here from Money Magazine as they say goodbye to the city. There it is, the shotgun again. Bentley's looking. He's throwing deep. Somebody's going to catch that, perhaps. It's knocked away from O'Donnell at the last second across the 50-yard line.
Well, intended receiver there was Michael O'Donnell, and I'll tell you what, the speed of Trevan Hayes really showed up on that play because he came from about midfield to help assist the other Larkin defender on breaking that pass up.
Romy will punt it away for the second time already for the Maroons. They are 3 downs and out so far on a couple of occasions. That means Larkin will get good field position, one would think again.
Well, it's I think for Elgin's point of view, they got to keep the ball at least deep in the Larkin territory, especially when you've got Weber and Trevan Hayes back there to receive this punt.
Joe boots it away. He will from about the 10. Boy, that's straight up in the air. Can we find that here in the misty night? Bounces down. It's going to hit it about just across the 40, maybe marked out of bounds at about the 44-yard line of Elgin.
Well, good news, bad news. Good news, Weber and Hayes didn't touch the ball. Bad news, they're going to have their opportunity at about their own 45-yard line.
Only the weather elements touched the ball, but is there a penalty? There's a flag out there, and I think it's against the Royals, which would set up maybe a 4th and 1, depending on what it was. Maybe it's an automatic first down. Let's see. That's why we've got you in the booth here. It is. It's going to be first down, Elgin. What was it, John Frigge?
Well, it was a penalty call here. I was watching the field instead of the camera, Jeff Meyer.
Ah, we caught you.
Yeah.
So it's going to be first down, so the Maroons get lucky, if not skillful, in that situation. They'll hang on to the football. We'll see where they mark it, but it is 1st and 10. And the mystery penalty here from press row here. Going to mark it off here and going to pick up some yardage, and it's going to be at, this is going to be way downfield, isn't it? He booted it from about his own 10 or 15. So it's all the way up to what? It's all the way up to the 40.
Right, Elgin will start the ball off now on the 40 with a 1st and 10.
All right. Well, that's what Coach Kelly Rice would be looking for, a chance to maybe warm the offense up and keep them on the field. 1st and 10, own 40-yard line, 7:32, first quarter remaining here. Tape delay football action coming your way on the Jones Intercable right here on this night. Going to hand it off there into Roby. Roby's going to run left and get across the line of scrimmage and fall backwards, really. Pick up about 2 yards. Thought Jimmy might be able to turn the corner and get going.
Well, he had a lot of room before he got to the line of scrimmage, and that can be a big benefit to a running back if you get a nice head start on some dry, firm turf before you get to the line. That's a big plus.
Yes, indeed. There you see the Maroons huddling. Eric Heine there, some of the great front line that they have. Solid front line, often playing undersized, the Maroons have this year, and we salute them for that. They have been undersized physically, weight-wise, in a lot of games, of course, both offensively and defensive line speaking. Going to hand it off, first man through, that's Teddy. Well, he's a block of granite. Bedford falls forward to about the 48. Has Teddy announced where he's going to go to school?
Not that I've heard. Not that I've heard. I think he's been on a few visits in the last 4 to 6 weeks, but certainly at least this year been more of a force on defense than offense.
Yeah, although he started greatly on offense against Niles West in that final Friday in August, and then never really approached great numbers offensively speaking.
The 4 touchdowns he has all came in that game.
It's going to be 3rd and 2 now, 48-yard line their own. 6:20 remain, first quarter action. I formation you can see. Calling it out is Bentley. Todd, check that. It's a new quarterback in there. That's going to be first down for the Maroons. But they snuck a new quarterback in there, John Briggy.
Michael D'Amato, the senior, who his parents were here on senior night. Michael D'Amato, I don't know what happened to Bentley. We'll take a look and find him on the sidelines if we can. But Mike D'Amato comes in for the handoff.
Maybe they're rotating a little bit. D'Amato, of course, is a very good quarterback in his career, has not QB'd much this year, has played some defense. But on senior night might be a nice showcase for him to go out there and run the troops from time to time. So the first down for the Maroons, and it's 1st and 10 just across midfield at the 49-yard line of the Royals. D'Amato, more of a pint-sized QB. Oh, there's motion. You pick it. One of the offensive linemen moved for the Maroons. That might have been moving first there initially. Check a number or two.
Well, it's always a problem you run into, Jeff. I think when you switch quarterbacks in and out, although we saw a team last week against Larkin, the Lake Park Lancers, who rotated them in quite frequently.
Yeah, they had bobbing quarterbacks. Not since Ed Brown and Bill Wade, I think, rotated with the Bears in the 50s. And we have so many rotation of quarterbacks. But we really did. Lake Park did and got away with that. 1st and 15 on the motion penalty against the offense. Their own 46-yard line now. D'Amato still there. Going to take the handoff. He's brought down. Oh, he fumbles. I think the Royals have it. You saw it right there in your television set. Yeah, D'Amato dropped it. Sean Lewis.
They'll call Sean Lewis with the recovery, but the key to that whole situation was Chad Dietz, the 6'1" senior, 195 pounds. He came in there and put the wraps around D'Amato, and that caused him to cough it up.
Yep, it's a sloppy night here. If you were here on this Friday night, you recall that you probably had to run to the washroom where the heat is about 84 degrees to warm up from time to time. So it's a chilly night indeed for everybody out here on this Friday night. 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line of Elgin. For the Royals, going to hand it off. No, it's going to be, oh, back it goes to the quarterback, Shabert. He heaves it upfield, and it's going to be dropped. See if the flags go out.
No
Little
flags.
trickery and skullduggery there by Larkin. They didn't complete the pass, but looked pretty good.
Well, Min Kim didn't bite. He didn't have to worry about that. He was right with his man, as he should be on a good defender situation like that. You just stay with your man till you hear the whistle. And Min Kim with the defensive play right there.
A lot of arsenal ability, a lot of different variation on the offense for the Royals. And boy, this team, even with Vince Weber graduating, has got lots of good things to look forward to next year.
Well, not only with that, but the sophomores that are playing now and being a big part of this team, well, of course, will be juniors with a lot more seasoning.
All right. Casey Kluxdahl and Vince Weber in backfield. See Casey there. He's going to give it off to Vince. Weber right up the straight. Gut of the field. He's dancing. He falls forward across the 30 on his best run so far of the night. He's going to pick up there about 12 yards.
Well, you give Lars Peterson the credit for the tackle there. That looked like it could have been a game-saving tackle because I think Vince Weber had just one man to beat, and he had the angle on him on that run, too. So give Pedersen the credit.
Yes, indeed. And it happens only once every other year when you see the Royals in their road white and royal jerseys. Of course, they are technically the road team here on this night, so it does look a little atypical. Not since 1995 have we seen the look. Have to get used to it a little bit here at Memorial Field. Some kind of stoppage there as the referees are going to discuss things a little bit, and something's going on. I'm not sure what it would be.
Yeah, the referees are just taking time on something. Maybe it's got, well, there's a flag on the other side of the field here. And there is a penalty.
Unsportsmanlike conduct is going to be called on one of the Royals. I didn't see what that was.
Well, it seems so far, Jeff, that Elgin has been given the opportunities due to critical and crucial penalties called against Larkin to get the ball in, and this would be an opportunity for Elgin to try and make a statement defensively and get the ball back soon.
Get it back to about the 43-yard line. 1st and 25 it would be. Shabert's got it, going to hand it off to Casey. Casey's brought down in the backfield. Good defense by the Maroons.
Boy, Bedford says I had a homing device on Casey Kluxdahl, and I just smashed him down.
Teddy was delighted with his efforts, and again, what an emotional game this is. You know these kids so well. You've played against them in various levels of competition, and certainly when you suit up against them on this night and being the final night for the seniors out there, that combination of emotion is at times overwhelming, you would think.
It can be, and that's why I think coaching is a very important part of this game particularly, to keep the players level-headed and let them do what they know how to do best, and that is play good football. 2nd
and a bunch, 2nd and 28, 46-yard line it is. You see the formation. Shabert's going to pitch it back, he will now, to Vince. Vince with a dance. Gets around one man, but there was no place to go that time, and Weber is brought down.
Well, Michael DiPiazza with the stop there with some help from JB, Justin Becker. Justin Becker, voted last year as a junior the most valuable boy athlete at Elgin High last year.
Another hold on the Royals. They're having some trouble on this drive. Let's see if Elgin says no to that, because it's going to be 3rd in eternity no matter what happens penalty-wise here. And I think they'll turn down that one. That's the sideline is saying, don't take it, fellas, because it's got to be about 3rd and 25 at best. We've got 3:35, first quarter remaining. Again, tape delay football coming your way on Jones Intercable. If you're watching on Tuesday night, you'd have one more opportunity for a complete broadcast on Thursday night from 6 until 8. It would be on October 30, day before Halloween. They turn it down and should be 3rd and 25 as we speculated, John.
That's correct. 3:32 left in the first quarter. No score. I'm sorry, Larkin leading 7-0.
Yeah, 7-0 if we fail to tell you that. As it was a long touchdown pass, it went, made it 7-0 for the Royals. Get it back to Schabert. Schabert looking, tossing. He will catch a man in center of the field. Oh, he's hit by 3 Maroons. You saw that hit.
Boy, Justin Becker's in on that hit, number 33 for the Maroons. Quinn Leonard was in on that hit, but give the credit to the receiver there for hauling that one down and keeping his head about him. I think, Jeff, this is probably, at least in the first quarter I've seen so far, the most times Larkin's gone to a shotgun in the offense. We saw it a couple times in the past, but I don't think we've seen it as much concentration-wise as we have so far in the first quarter.
I don't think we have. So it's going to be 4th and 8. I think the Royals are going to call the timeout here to talk about exactly what their options would be at the 27-yard line.
Well, again, 2:48 left in the first quarter here on Jones Intercable. The Town Jug game, Larkin leading 7-0, and they have a timeout. Be a good time to talk about Larkin right now as far as expectations, Jeff. You know, we've been following the team on and off all year long. I think right now they were expecting to be in a different position than this game is presenting to them right now as far as the playoffs go.
Total 3 losses, but again, as you watch at home, you know exactly what the IHSA thought about their season and whether they're playing this upcoming weekend or not. You would know the 3 losses was 1 or 2 more than would be expected, of course, for the Royals this year, as they were expected to finally beat St. Charles, to get by Lake Park, to not really let anybody, with the exception of maybe Waubonsie Valley, which they lost to those guys, stop them. So instead of 1 loss on the ledger, it was 3, and that was a bit surprising. But they did discover a lot of underclassmen talent, if you will. So that was an exciting season in that department. 4th and 8. Let's see how Coach Schabert will call it, with son Matt calling out the cadence. He drops back. He'll look. He will toss. It will be overthrown slightly. Just missed connecting with Stan Yarborough. And on downs, the Royals will turn it over.
Well, Yarborough, again, I think has been Matt Schabert's favorite target. He's been playing on the same team since Pee Wee, if I'm remembering correctly. So there's a situation right there where I'm sure they're going to hook up many, many times tonight and probably for the rest of their career, if you look at it from a junior and senior standpoint.
They've got that radio device in their helmets, as you talked about. They know exactly where they're going, and it was fun. We got a chance for Jones Intercable to cover, for highlight purposes, many Larkin games this year, and they really did make the good connections. The Maroons with it for the 3rd time. Let's see if they can mount a drive here. 1st and 10 on their own 27-yard line. Henderson in motion from far to near side. There goes Bedford again. Teddy unable to get across that line of scrimmage with a full head of steam, and he'll might pick up a half yard or so.
Seems like they're planning on using Bedford a lot more offensively so far in the first quarter, with the clock winding down, about 2 minutes and 25 seconds left, than they have pretty much in the last 4 or 5 games.
And we don't have any problem with that, because Teddy is an outstanding physical specimen out there, as you can see. And to get him the football and see if he can create things to happen, especially in this game against Larkin, is not a bad way to go.
No, it's not.
It's going to look like if they throw, it might be to the near side here. You see, once again, from the shotgun, there's Bentley looking, and the stoppage of play. There was movement by somebody before that play got underway, so it'll be against the offense.
Well, it's one thing can kind of kill it. One thing that can definitely kill the drive or kill any momentum is call it a silly penalty right now. I know it's cold. I know the field is somewhat sloshy. Maybe there's a little bit of ice forming on the field. I don't know. It's cold enough. It seems like, yes, it does. It does seem to be.
Your blood's a little thinner than it was when you were a high school man here.
You're so correct. You're so correct.
So 2nd and 14 it will be after the motion penalty. No doubt Bentley will be in the shotgun once again. And again, if he throws, he's got the wideouts and slot men on this near side. Looks like they had motion again. They might have got away with it. Bentley tossing. Bentley will have it knocked out of bounds. He was trying to get Mike O'Donnell. Sean Lewis knocked it out of bounds. There you saw number 7 for the Royals. Nice defense on behalf of Larkin.
I think if Bentley's going to make any good completions that are that far downfield, he's going to have to get the ball to his receivers a lot quicker, because that secondary of Larkin, they will make those picks, and they will take him in the end zone.
Yeah, he's throwing pretty good there, but he is tossing that from the far hash mark, it looks like, to the near sideline and at an angle. So he's putting that football in the air about 25 yards and getting some of the Royal quarterbacks a chance to settle under it. All right, here from the long shot, you see it. Bentley, once again, he wants to throw tonight. And Kelly Rice says, go ahead. Bentley looks. He'll scamper. He will toss. It's caught and dropped. That was Pedersen who had it and forgot to hang on to it while he started to run.
And over here on this side of the field, right in front of the Maroon bench, was a wide-open Teddy Bedford. I don't know if that was just the design of the play, but the Larkin defender let Bedford all alone. And you can see him coming back to the huddle now. I'm sure he's going to be saying the same thing to Mr. Bentley, saying I was wide open.
Joe Aromi's going to punt it for the third time tonight, although last time he did it, there was a penalty against the Royals, so it wasn't in the books as a punt. But Joe will kick from remarkably just about the same spot on Memorial Field again.
Well, he's facing some wind. There's no question about it. The flag is not completely horizontal, but there are flashes where it is. So there's definitely some wind to contend with on this end of the field.
1:34 remaining in this quarter. Joe's kick, yeah, that wind's playing havoc with it. That goes straight up and almost comes straight down, but he gets a good bounce. Going to bounce it once again, similar territory, across midfield. You see the Maroons fall on it right there. And it's going to be their own 47-yard line for the Royals as they take offensive possession.
Well, with 1:22 left in the first quarter, Larkin leading 7-0. Jeff, you think we're going to see a few more aerial attacks in the last minute and 22 here from the Royals?
I would think, and some carrying by Vince Weber as well. On this 9th week of the season for both teams, of course, the Maroons are entering this game with that mark of 3-5. They'd be entering this game at, would they not? Of course, 5-3 for Larkin, still with that chance for the playoffs, and by now you know exactly how they stand on that status. Timeout for Shabert. He didn't like what was happening there as he had a couple of wideouts on the left side and some confusion.
Well, Trevan Hayes was late getting off the field. I don't know if that was just a personnel missed assignment, but it gives the Larkin coaches and the Elgin coaches a chance to huddle up with their team.
It really does indeed. As we are right here, there you see the Larkin coaching staff going out there. 7-0 the Royals lead with that 1:22 remaining in the first quarter. Exciting Elgin Maroon Larkin Royal football coming your way right here on Jones Intercable. Always a delight to be aboard. We have the biggest crew in numbers we've ever had for Jones Intercable, and they're doing a wonderful job out there. And we've got our good friend, the barbecue man, is here. We're going to tell you about him in just a couple of seconds. The Elgin legend, Larry Gerber, active here tonight. And a pretty good crowd. I know you were disappointed, John Prigge, with the crowd. If you were here again, fireworks after the game there were. Money Magazine had the big tent. I've never seen such a big tent here at Memorial Field.
I'm expecting Ned Locke and Bob Bell to come out from underneath that tent in a minute here.
The Bozo Show lives here in Elgin. All right, here we go. We're going to zoom right in, make sure you're seeing that. There it is right there. You want to be right in the huddle in the line of scrimmage with the Royals. Now we'll give you this different angle as well. 1st and 10, their own 48-yard line for the Royals. Matt drops it back into the flat, the pass. Caught by John, he's across midfield. He's still on his feet. He'll be knocked out of bounds on the far side at about the 40-yard line.
Key to this situation for Larkin and the way that they make those quick passes is that it looks like Matt Shabert can recognize when they've got an Elgin defender backing off on the Larkin line there, and he just makes that quick one-step drop, fires it, and it's either to Olish or to Yarborough, and they always make good gains out of it.
Olish has got a 49-yard touchdown pass here tonight. Now he has picked up that substantial one as well. You can see the WRMN banner there in the background a little bit. If you're enjoying that.
That to the right is where all the people for Larkin are standing. It's a little bit warmer down there than it is up in the seats down there.
As it is an Elgin media event here, Elgin and Larkin, and there's the handoff. Hey, that's Hayes. Look at him, bob and weave, getting that first down and then some. That's the future for the Royals right there running-wise.
Well, Paris Hunter making the stop there, a senior, and you're right. You talk about the future of this team. I think Matt Shabert, in my opinion, is very close to being all-conference in this Upstate 8 conference. He's done an outstanding job. He's got a lot of yards under his belt for passing this year. And again, you've got Yarborough and a lot of good sophomores on this team that I like the way Dale Shabert has dropped them in this year.
Royals lead 7-0. Less than 45 seconds remain here in the first stanza. 1st and 10, 24-yard line of Maroons it is. Handoff goes to Vince. Weber across the line of scrimmage, going to pick up close to about 10 yards. Maybe get 2 yards shy of a first down.
Vince had a nice hole to go through there, and looks like Teddy Bedford, his buddy, made the stop there. So again, the clock winding down with about 24 seconds left in the first quarter. I don't think they're going to get another playoff here, Jeff.
The memories of Vince Weber certainly come to mind with this game as he wraps up that great regular season senior year. And although disappointing as he'll end up near the 1,000-yard mark, and we were talking about 2,000 as the season began, still some great memories, of course, Vince Weber and number 2. That's going to be the quarter right there. So at the end of one stanza, it is going to be Larkin 7 and Elgin nothing here on the old Town Jug game that we have for you here on tape delay broadcast on Jones Intercable. And with this break in the action, it's going to be brought to you by Larry Gerber of Barbecue Man, Inc. He's that fame and Elgin-based food consulting and reporting firm he is for cooking instruction classes, freelance writing and reporting assignments, recipe development, and the wildest tie-dye kitchen apparel available. You've got to call the Barbecue Man at 847, as you know, area code-wise, 289-4477. There you see it. That's the real-life Barbecue Man. Larry is a legend with the tie-dye, and I have never seen 10 pounds of beef disappear more quickly than what he brought for the crew that we had here on this night.
Well, when you said we've got the biggest crew here, I was wondering if you're meaning girth.
Well, we do have Herb and Larry, but even with that, they are charming and delightful, and we're certainly appreciating Larry Gerber and all the good things here.
They've never been called charming and delightful by anybody until you got here to Jones.
Here we go. We're going to see if before the broadcast is over, we're going to tell Herb if we can show you the tent that Money Magazine here has out here. Not necessarily right now, but as John Frigge said, it is one huge tent that existed in the north end zone of this game here on this night. Here we go. 2nd and 3, it will be 17-yard line. We're beginning second quarter action, and we're headed into the tent. Going to hand it off to Yarbrough. He's going to go wide on the reverse. Stan gets a jitterbug there. He's not going to get much yardage. Didn't really fool the Maroons that time.
No, he didn't. And I'll tell you, one guy he definitely did not fool was number 52 for the Elgin Maroons. Or 62. Was it 62, Jeff Myers?
62.
Well, no wonder I couldn't find 52.
That's
62.
Ryan Hoffman.
That's right. We've seen him playing outstandingly this year, Jeff.
Recently, Ryan, because of classes at Elgin High, you have to go to a city council meeting, and he was there with pad and pencil taking notes when the mayor spoke.
Is that right?
He was learning his civics lesson.
Well, good.
Mr. Hoffman was. We saw his dad. His dad looks a little bit like Alan Alda.
I get it.
That's how it all works. Yeah, I
okay.
formation for Larkin. 1st and 10 it is, and there's Vince Weber. Falls across the 10 to about the 6-yard line.
Well, Weber needs to get some yardage here tonight, and the way the holes have been opening up for him, at least on the few plays that we've been keying in on him, he won't have a problem tonight.
No, he won't. And the drummer boy beats away right here. He's working hard. 2nd and 4 it will be. There they can get a first down. 2nd and 4 on the 6. Once again, the I formation for the Royals. Gunalish on the wide out on the far side. Weber, the deep back. Vince has got it running left. Weber, he's going to be brought down, rather toughly. Got to about the 5, and the Maroons said, no, touchdown here, Vincent.
No way. Paris Hunter with the stop there, and again, of course, Ryan Hoffman finishing it up there, too.
Going to set up a 3rd and about 4. No gain that time for Vince. That's nice defensive stand here by the Maroons as you look at the Royals offense. Here's a bit of the defense now of the Maroons of Elgin. They were expected to maybe have won 1 or 2 more games as well, the Maroons. They were a bubble team in the truest sense, John Frigge, when the season started, playoff-wise. Looking at a 5-4, 6-3 potential at best. And now hoping to come away with that 4th win here tonight. It's a passing situation. Matt's going to roll out, toss it. John Olesh has got it. 2nd touchdown for John. John Olesh, we should say. That time it's going to be a 6-yard touchdown pass to John. His 2nd of the night. And the Royals will lead 13-0.
Well, that's, again, that patented hookup that's got a lot of yardage for the Larkin Royals this year. Shaver to Olish, and this one goes in for the TD. Point after attempt coming now from Justin Loloff, the 6'2 junior for the Larkin Royals.
So a nice long drive that time by the Royals. Justin will see if he can get this to go through. There's the placement. Kick is going to be good. Always takes about 7.5 seconds to figure that out by the refs. And we have to go with that because you can't tell up here, can you, John?
No, it's tough to tell from here. As we've noticed all this year, a lot of times we've called kicks that are good, and they've been waved off. And I think the referees here that made the call that decided it was good were distracted a little bit by the Money Magazine tent in the north. They were checking their raffle tickets to see if they won the car.
Yeah, there's a car given away on this night, historically speaking, and there's the new scoreboard again, 10:33 remaining. Some of the crowd, some of the fandom here as the Maroons break huddle, and they find themselves on the short side. And again, last year's game was close until really the fourth quarter, but Elgin has lost 42-15 last year, 40-0 2 years ago. 27-14 they lost in 94, and then 28-0 in 93. The Maroons have not won here at the Town Jug Classic since they knocked off Larkin 34-20 in the 92 campaign.
Well, there's been a lot of great games on this field, Jeff Myers. Again, the one I've always talked about has been the game back in 1972, right here on this field. Elgin and Larkin entered the last game of the season with identical records. One loss, it was against East Aurora that both teams suffered losses on. The winner was going to win the conference, and Elgin won 8-6 on a very rainy day. It was been raining all that week, and but what was reported in the Courier News, about 6,500 people here. I remember that was one of the days I got very mad at my father because I was in 8th grade at the time. We were going to come to the game, and we saw the crowd from Route 19, and my dad says, "I'm not going in there." Turned us right around. I went home and agonized for weeks.
That is a sweet story.
I didn't mean to
still
bring
kind of
tears to your eyes.
years later. I weeped when I heard that. Short kick going to be fumbled by the Maroons. Who's got it? Look at the pile you decided at home. It might be, well, I'm not even going to say. Oh, it's the Royals have got it. Maroons have lost it again. The Royals have recovered a fumble. See who fumbled down there, John Priggy. I believe that was handled by Joey Del Grazie, was it not?
Well, I didn't see that, but I saw Mike Hammond come up with a big recovery right there. This gives the Royals another chance to strike. They've got great field position. Again, just into the second quarter, clock running with about 10 minutes and 17 seconds left.
The quick start or strike they could have right now after that fumble. They'll have it on good field position. As we told you, they're going to mark it at about the 34-yard line, the way I see it. Scoreboard saying 25, but that looks like a 34-yard line to me. High formation for the Royals. They bring it out once again. They're up 14-0. Second quarter action. Handed off to Vince. Vince is going to pick up just about 2 yards. It's nice that Vince can get, if he can get like 20 carries tonight, that would be a nice way to say so long to the regular season career for Vince Weber.
Yes, it would. And again, we don't want to talk too much about the playoffs because as you're watching this game, you know the playoff story right there. But again, you know, Vince would really like to close out at least this game, if not his high school career, with a big game regarding the yardage.
Yeah, no question about that. Second and 8 it will be. 32-yard line of the Maroons. Man in motion. Casey's going to dance along the backfield there. Hand it off to Vince. Vince Weber going to get that first down across the 25 to about the 23-yard line.
Big
nice,
holes.
consistent movement by Vince.
Yes, it is. Big holes opening up for him there, and with that type of running style he has, he's not a sprinter. He's not gazelle-like in his running. He's more of a stocky, rambling wreck from Georgia Tech type of runner. And when you get a hole open for him, you know you're going to pay the price if you're going to try and tackle him.
After a couple of passes from Schaber to John Ullish, they might want to pound it in this time. First and 10, 23-yard line it will be. Dropping back, Matt's going to throw. He wants to get it into the corner. It is going to be a touchdown to John. What did I tell you? They're going to do it again.
Well, this is what is so patented as a force for Larkin. If you key on Vince Weber, if you key on Trevan Hayes, you got to remember that Schaber can find Yarbrough, he can find Olish, and again, it will cost you. This is a good game for the Larkin Royals.
Less than 2 minutes after the last touchdown, John's got another. His third of the night. It's 20-0 Larkin. Boy, that was nicely thrown.
Now, that's the way he's been throwing all year. I don't think I've seen a bad pass thrown by Matt Schaber all this year.
Certainly they have the guns there, no question about it. Going to try the conventional PAT once again. The boot. It is up, and it is going to be good. And 3 in a row, and it's 21-0 Larkin.
Well, Jeff Myers, let me ask you the question I've asked you many times during our radio broadcast. You're Kelly Rice. What are you telling your team right now as they're huddled in front of the bench?
Well, obviously, let's get this kick return and hang on to it.
Yeah.
Let's have a line of scrimmage that might be our own 30-yard line so we can get the offense back out there. They fumbled on the kick last time, and they were trying to get too much too quickly in that situation.
Yeah.
And the Royals have been kicking it short all game long. So there hasn't been an opportunity really for Walker, although Walker did touch it once on the kick, or Roby to get their hands on it, maybe explode and get maybe an 82-yard jaunt or so.
Well, we say that as Jimmy Roby and Shaylon Walker are the deep backs for this kick. Again, 8:45 left in the second quarter. Larkin Royals leading 21-0 over the Elgin Maroons.
Justin Lolup's going to kick it away one more time. If you were here on this night, if you're a Larkin fan, can you see yourself? Run to the television set and say, Myrtle, I was right there. As our camera's going to point it out for you. Now we're going to go back to the players. Justin's going to boot it away. His own 40. There's the boot. It's going to be once again short. Some of that is the wind to a certain degree. And it's caught. I thought he fair caught it.
Boy, he sure did. He sure did. And the flags are a little late, but at least they're there. No, he definitely signaled for that. Justin Becker is a smart guy. He knows when he can hear the thunder. He signaled for the fair catch, and Larkin hit him.
And was hit. So Justin, who missed, what, the first 4 weeks of the season with the injury?
Yes.
Is making a very wise senior-like decision there. He held onto the football. He protected himself and the football. Now they're going to get the yardage tacked on of about 15 yards, and the Maroons are going to have very good field position almost at midfield.
I think this is the second or third time that a costly Larkin penalty has given Elgin more of an advantage when they've started off with the ball, but the Maroons haven't been able to capitalize on it. So far, the Royals have been dodging bullets with the penalties being called against them.
So it sets up a 1st and 10. Bentley's been throwing quite a bit here tonight. Not all that successful. He's been trying medium to longer range passes and been unable to connect. So let's see how he plays it here. Teddy Bedford has handled the football a few times, and that's been the offense for Coach Kelly Rice and the troops. As they'll start things off, here we go. Everybody's got the mud out of the shoes, and it's going to be a couple of wideouts here. On the near side, you see Michael O'Donnell, also a man. Pedersen in slot, I formation, backfield it is.
D'Amato quarterbacking.
Oh, D'Amato's going to quarterback again, going to hand it off to Walker. Jaylon's not going to get very far. He weighs in at about 145, so when he's hit at the line of scrimmage, he's not going very far.
No, and in the beginning of the year, the very first game here at Memorial Field for the Maroons, Niles West, he and Teddy Bedford just ran roughshod over Niles West. Bedford is small. He's got that low center of gravity. If he can get past the line, then he too can be gone. He can be an offensive threat that he just hasn't been able to get across the goal line as often as I'm sure Kelly Rice would like him to have been.
You see the Royals, now the Maroons coming up to the offensive line. Roby's back in there and Bedford's back in there. D'Amato remains to be the quarterback. D'Amato more of a scamper and not of a passer as Bentley is. D'Amato shouts it out. Probably going to hand it off to Bedford here, and he does. Teddy's got it across the line of scrimmage and then some. Teddy's in the open field. He's got a first down. Nice run by TB.
Well, let's see where the flag's going to be marked off against here. As I saw a flag on the far side of the field, Jeff. This could be costly if it's against the Maroons, because that's probably one of their best yard gains from scrimmage so far in this game.
Yeah, they're going to bring that back, and that was unfortunate as Bedford got the football, got to the line of scrimmage quickly, accelerated, found the hole. It was there, and they just brought that back. The hold taking place against the Maroons, and that'll cause the Maroons to walk northerly in style and lose that first down.
Well, that's got to hurt. That's got to hurt for sure. That's something that if you're trying to mount an offensive threat and get some drive and momentum going, to have that call come up against you on a big play like that can set you back.
So it's going to set up really what would be, I guess that'd be 1st and a ton right here. Let's see what they mark it down. 33-yard line, or they're going to mark it on the 49-yard line of Larkin, and about 2nd and 8, I guess it technically would be here. D'Amato still the QB. Roby and Bedford, that's the backfield tandem there. You got really the ability to hit it tough down low and get Roby outside as well in a 1-2 punch. Man in motion from near side to far. D'Amato is going to hand it off to Bedford. Teddy can't do likewise there, but does fall forward on a 2nd and 8, might get as much as 6 and make it 3rd and 2.
Boy, look at the Larkin coaches barking at their team there. Are they barking at the referee? Terry Shabert is down there, the only guy I'm sure in this within a 3-mile radius wearing shorts tonight. So he's giving it to his players, or at least trying to inspire them. Did you like that 3-mile radius?
Okay. I was thinking about that. Let's see how far. Would that Algonquin? No. I was trying to play the area mental map and see if I can come up with it.
You don't want to go to Algonquin. They've got that lake effect.
D'Amato, is he going to throw? Because he got a couple of wideouts on this near side. He's not all that much of a thrower. We'll find out. He's going to drop back, and Michael's going to toss. Well, maybe. He's dodging a bullet, but not much. On what would be a 3rd and 3, he dropped back and lost yardage.
I'll give the tackle right there to Chad Dietz. Dietz has been in on a couple of big plays this half.
So how would you call it now, Coach Kelly Rice, with 6:20 remaining here in the second quarter, down by 3 touchdowns? Do you have to boot it away here? And you do.
Yeah, you really have to at this point. 6:17 and the clock rolling in the second quarter. Larkin up to a 21-0 lead.
So Joe will boot it away for the Maroons. Romy's had 2 official punts here so far tonight. One that was called back on a penalty that was in favor of the Maroons. But this is his best field position to boot away from. He'll kick it away from about his own 42-yard line. He might even be able to get one of those coffin corner kicks. That's what he's shooting for. He'll get a kick that will be, Hayes will let it bounce, and let's see, it's going to go into the end zone. Or is it brought down there by the Maroons? Hey, it stopped on about the 2. That is going to be down on the 2 by Elgin. And that's John Holden, who looks like he successfully did that. Or Michael O'Donnell, is it John Holden?
Now, it looks like Holden, and in the end zone with his hands on his knees and his head down is Vince Weber saying, you know, I probably should have picked it up and took the chance and go after that. That was a big kick for Joel Romy to set the Royals deep in their own zone.
It really did. The crowd was most quiet on that, too. They were waiting to see Vince. Are you going to touch that football? Vince said, not this time. And he knew he made a mistake. 1st and 10, their own 2 for the Royals. Let's see if they go with the power backfield. They are. Schabert is going to hand it off to Vince, and in a combination of things there, Vince is going to be brought down maybe after a yard pickup or so. A lot of bodies there. Call it out, John Trickey. Who are you going to salute defensively?
The guy that's been a big part of their team all year long, Ryan Hoffman, I think was probably one of the first guys in on that tackle, and followed up by 2 or 3 of his teammates there to let Mr. Weber know there's no room on the right side.
Weber gets 1, 2nd and 9. Dangerous territory for the Royals. It's a sloppy night here at Memorial Field. You don't want to fumble here if you're a Royal fan and get the Maroons a quick touchdown that way or good field position. So you got to make sure you handle that properly. That's why they've got the power formation in backfield. Same thing, right up the gut. They're going to pick up a few yards, maybe up to about the 7-yard line.
Well, Matt Schabert has shown not only this year, Jeff, can he pass very well, but he can also run. We've seen him on a couple of times make some big pickups on quarterback sneaks, more than the 1 or 2 yards you expect on a sneak.
3rd and 5, it will be their own 6-yard line. Some troops coming off the bench for Coach Schabert. Getting out to the huddle right now. They'll have to get this play away quickly. No doubt it would be, once again, the power run. The Maroons wanting to stop here and getting that football in a good field position.
This is a key stop for Elgin, 3rd and 5.
But we've seen Schabert throw in a lot of situations, and in this situation, he is going to, let's see where we got it.
It's sacked, or it looks like he tried to pass it or to push it somewhere, but it went out of bounds. And a flag, 2 or 3 flags up in the air now.
I'm not sure. You're going to decipher that one. Was that a safety? Was that tossed out of bounds? Was that an intentional grounding in the end zone, which would be a safety? Let's see how they rule it. That one just did not go at all for the Royals, who have the 21-0 lead. That is going to be tossing it in the end zone, out of bounds, so it's a safety. Give Maroons 2 points.
Maybe Schabert panicked a little bit back there while he was being pressured by the defense there. So Elgin scratches the scoreboard with 2 points.
The old 21-2 count. That sounds like a Cub-Philly game in the old days. 21-2, and now the Royals will have a free kick. They'll kick it away.
Old days, I'm thinking of May.
Right.
Maybe early June.
I guess it's a universal reference, and I lost my mind for a moment. So the Maroons are on the scoreboard. That was the weirdest looking Royal play there. Little trickery, and then they tried to unload it from their own end zone. So they're just handing it off and seeing if they get 4 or 5 yards. Now a free kick. Justin will come in and probably boot that away. They won't use, they'll probably use the punting situation here, is what teams traditionally do.
And Walker and Roby are going to be the deep backs for the Maroons here. 4:07 left in the second quarter, and 21-2. Larkin over Elgin.
Yeah. So we have seen more safeties. The Royals have had 3 safeties positive for them this year, and now this Maroon safety. I've not seen 4 safeties in a year, ever, frankly.
No, even in high school. I mean, I don't even think you see that in Pee Wee, do you?
Not often.
Chiefs and the
Steelers and all the Packers and everybody, the Jaguars this year, some of the new teams they've introduced to the Youth Football League. And here we go. Going to boot this away with 4:07 remaining in the exciting first half coming away. Tape delay telecast right here on Jones Intercable. Yours truly, Jeff Myers. There's John Prigge. Thanks for being aboard here. As I told you, they will kick it away as if they've just scored a touchdown. They won't punt it away. They do so from their own 20. Expect a run back here, Sherry. Here's the kick. It's going to be over Roby's head. Nice kick. Roby's going to scoop it up at his own 25 and look and dance. Jutes to the 30, to the 35, the near sideline 40. Still on his feet, 45. He stepped out of bounds somewhere. I guess at about the 44 because the whistle blows the play dead.
Well, Mark Williams looked like he was the man to force him out of bounds. They're probably going to mark that ball back to about the 37, where he went out of bounds or forced out of bounds. Where are they marking it now?
I think it should be like 44 or so, but I'm not sure.
Well, it looked like the umpire and the referee were going to mark it back on the 37, but they were just setting up for T, it looks like.
There's a clip. The Maroons guilty of the clip. And so forget what we were expecting. The yardage would have been about 45, but now you call it where it's going to be. You see the sideline of the Maroons and some of the fans walking by. Our Jones and Cable camera here and trying to stay warm with the heat of our camera. They're just having a fun time here.
Well, there you have it now. The Maroons are deep into their own territory.
Is that the Energizer Bunny or is that the Money Magazine hair? I don't know what that would be. We've got a rabbit in the crowd. Check your... Oh, there's a duck, too. Daffy Duck's here tonight. If Yogi Bear appears, I'm out of here. Here it is. Yeah, the Cartoon Network's having a cameo. It is going to be Roby running wide, and he gets good yardage to about the 35-yard line.
Well, the last 4 yards of that all came because of Roby and his fake. He kind of froze the two Larkin defenders there and brought the ball now almost squarely on the Elgin Maroon 35. 3:41 left in the second quarter. Larkin leading Elgin 21-2.
Yes, here it is, 21-2 with Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny here on this night. And Money Magazine to boot. Fireworks after the game there were, if you were here, so you saw a lot. There's Bugs. Suffering succotash. No, that's not Bugs, is it? Bentley throws. He's back in there. Bentley the long toss to no one. Mike O'Donnell says, I was interfered with, and the referee says, you sure were.
That's right, and they're all looking at Sean Lewis right now, and O'Donnell was really pretty vociferous about that call, and Dale Shabers over there on the other side of the field. They're asking the referee probably who makes the call, the referee or the players.
Yeah, that was a tight one there. As we begin to wind down here in the first half, Roby's going to come back out there. Again, Bentley, when he's in there, Todd is throwing extensively for the Maroons. And there you see the announced penalty.
I think from a coach's standpoint, Jeff, anytime you have a flag called against your team, you want the flag called by the referee, and you want them obviously quickly and without any hesitation. If there's a delay, that's the first thing you're going to look at the referee and say, who made the call?
Well said, sir. The Priggy Clinic, John Priggy Clinic that you know so much about. I like that. Second and, well, let's see, it's got to be first down, of course. It's going to be just across midfield at the Royals 49-yard line. We're having a fun time here at Press Row.
Is there a raffle ticket being
Folks are dropping by and having fun with us here. The kids have been excited ever since they saw Bugs Bunny up here in Press Row. I want to tell you.
Not to say we got a young crew, but...
Here we go. There's more discussion. I tell you what, with this break in the action, why don't we take an opportunity? We're going to take a quick timeout. We'll continue with more Elgin Maroon Larkin Royal football after this. Hi, this is Jeff Myers of the Jones Intercable Week in Review with another cable news break. Our technology here at Jones Intercable, as opposed to Ameritex, allows you to utilize your cable-ready set without a converter box. Elgin's Janice Carl is very thankful for our great technology.
Because we have several hookups, and so we don't have to have boxes for all those hookups, and we're very happy with it. We really think that Jones is a smart choice. We really do.
Jones Intercable, a smart choice in Elgin.
Do you love children? Do you have a caring family and a loving home? Have you ever thought about becoming a foster parent? The Jane Shover Easter Seal Foster Care Program has been placing infants to young adults with loving families for over 25 years. We are currently looking for foster families to assist in the development of a young person's life. To learn more about becoming a foster parent, please call us at 847-468-6840. A foster parent can make a big difference in a special child's life.
Maroons with it. Roby gets forward to about the 43-yard line. That was a second and 8 run there with 2:30 remaining here in the first half.
I'll give the trip up there to Jamie Luzinski, the guy that Coach Terry Shaver trusts to call the defensive plays there. And now we're looking at, again, 3rd and 5 with 2:25 clock rolling in the second quarter. Maroons down 21-2.
21-2, but they've got the most recent points, so they think the momentum might swing back their way. And again, it was a close game last year till the fourth quarter, so maybe Elgin's got that strong second half in them still. Here it is, going to set up the 3rd and 5. Get it to Bentley. Bentley mishandles it, but is still running for his life, still alive. Bentley on the run, tosses to Bedford. There's going to be a flag, probably an illegal block on behalf of the Maroons there.
Well, it was a low snap right at Bentley's legs. Give him credit for, keeping his wherewithal and picking the ball up and going after it right away. But, again, Jamie Luzinski with the hustle into that backfield, Jeff.
Yeah. So it will be against the Maroons. And if Larkin takes it, it will be 3rd and extremely long here. See what they're going to say where it's going to be here with exactly 2 minutes remaining here in this first half. And let's see what yardage we're going to have on it. 21-2 is the count. There you see the brain trust of the referees talking it over here, and they're going to bounce that back a little bit. And Bentley's going to have a number of yards to come up with here. Let's see what they're going to mark this. Going to come all the way back to the 41-yard line for the Maroons. Should be about 3rd and 20, we'll say. Passing situation for Kelly Rice and the troops. As they break a huddle, they will have the wideouts, Mike O'Donnell on the far side. Bedford's going to be in the slot. Bentley's going to be from the shotgun, as he has probably on a dozen occasions here tonight, John Prigge.
You're exactly right.
There's the snap. Bentley looks, drops back, stumbles a little bit, still running, gets it to the completed pass. He does. Another flag's going to go down. It's going to come back as well. Nice reception that time by Paris Hunter. But once again, it will come back as the Maroons were guilty of something we would think here. Let's make sure. Nice reception by Paris. Found that seam and then made a great run after he caught the pass.
Well, Mark Williams, a 6'3", 200-pound junior with the tackle there. It's going to be marked off, it looks like, against the Maroons. And, well, I'll tell you what, Kelly Rice is going to have something to say during the halftime. There's just no question about it. I mean, here's another opportunistic gain that's been called back because of penalties.
Yeah, that was tough there. That one hurt because Paris had a nice reception, nice catch. Paris Hunter did. And again, we'll be in that twilight zone of yardage. Mike DiPiazza doesn't care much for that call, the big tight end. Said, let's do it again, fellas. Let's get this first down. You see the Royals defense marching backwards. Somewhere in your camera's eye, there it is. There's the Maroons offense. And it'll set up a 3rd and you count 'em situation once again. This is going to be 3rd in an eternity. This will be like 3rd and 30 plus.
I bet it's going to be a clip.
Yes. Well, get the slide rule out. It will be for the Maroons on this one. They've marked it all the way back to about the 27-yard line.
Well, they dug themselves a big hole here. There's no question about it. And Teddy Bedford is talking to the referee there and, maybe exchanging ideas or suggestions perhaps about the second half.
Well, they'll have their meal after the game tonight, one or the other. It's going to be a toss. Well, actually, we would lose it down, on that. That would be the pass interference offensively. So a loss of down. It's 4th in that eternity. 4th and 35.
Well, now Joel Aromi's on to kick again for Van Hayes and Vince Weber standing at their own 46-yard line. This is a dangerous situation for the Elgin Maroons, without a doubt. This is a dangerous kick for Aromi. He's going to have to really get it high or get it deep to stop
He's used to it tonight, John Prigge, because he's booted from his own 10 and 15 a couple of, he had a sidestep one would-be tackler there, still got the kick away. Nice kick, and Vince Weber, no fair catch, and brought down right there in his tracks.
Well, Vince Weber probably thought, I'm not going to let another one go by like that again, and this is one he probably should have fair catched or signaled for the fair catch without a doubt. That was a big injury risk.
Yeah, that was. All the Texas scouts or wherever college looking at him was saying, watch that, Vince.
And we say that as he's mildly limping back to the huddle. So Vince has had some ankle problems this year. That's what's kept him down to what he was expected to be as far as a yard gainer this year. And let's see what he does now in the backfield. He's kind of kicking that left leg around.
That game on September 12th against Waubonsee Valley really curtailed his career. And there's going to be the draw. Give it to Vince. Weber weaves his magic. He's going right. Can he go all the way? He's going to be finally brought out of bounds, knocked down at about the 33-yard line.
Well, Paris Hunter missed the tackle there, but he had 2 or 3 other guys following him up there. and that's what's got the Larkin Royals struggling now, and striking now down around the 33, 34-yard line.
25-yard run, yeah, that was for Vince Weber.
And Teddy Bedford's hurt.
Oh, no. A clash of two titans, if you will, when Bedford and Weber meet on the gridiron here at Memorial Field. So 1st and 10 it will be. It's a festive night tonight. It's chilly but festive. When Elgin and Larkin get together, you never know what can happen.
Borderline giddy.
I think so. We've got some of the coaching staff of the Maroons hooting out some suggestions from time to time, if you're hearing that at home.
And as you can imagine, with the score 21-2 with 1:05 left in the second quarter, they are strong suggestions.
They sound like your wife when you bring home your paycheck. I know exactly what they're talking about.
Never should
Especially that radio paycheck you bring home.
Never should give you my address.
All right, 1:05 remaining here. Even the announcers are giddy on this Money magazine. Not every day do I see both Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny in the same set.
And you're still awake.
That's right. All right. We're going to discuss this for, well, the injury continues. You see it right there, Teddy Bedford, who, again, we had a chance to talk with him several times this year. And when he walks up to you, as Dr. Nick and a company looking at what's going to be the right ankle, right leg or something, he is going to be hobbling. There's the coaching staff for the Larkin Royals. They shout out instruction to the troops.
Vince Weber there taking the Dale Shabert suggestion back to the huddle.
Vince and Terry right there. Terry, of course, and there's Teddy going to limp off there. As again, Dr. Nick Mombalis, one of the outstanding team physician for the Maroons, so instrumental in keeping these kids healthy. Does lots of good work. Junior Maroon coach he is. Basketball season helps that program. So not only caring enough about the kids and his doctoring ability, but also caring about them as players.
Well, he's kept a lot of Jim Harrington's players on the court. You know, especially you talk about guys like Brent Gooden, who injured his ankle, and with the electrostim and all the great inventions they have now, a good guy like Dr. Nick is so important.
1st and 10, 34-yard line it was after the Weber run. Man in motion, Yarbrough from far to near side, handed off to Vince, going right, same play almost, dancing around across the 30, 25, he'll get to about the 20-yard line.
Well, Vince is having a good night so far. It's one of the situations that we expected him to have a good night. This was his kind of turf, if you can put it that way, and against the Elgin Maroons, it's been kind of easy pickings for Vince.
40 seconds remain in the first half. 21-2 the count. Handed off to Vince. Any opening? Can Vince find it? No, sir. Not even Barry Sanders could find an opening that time.
He drew 7 players. He drew 7 Maroons on there to help him go down. And again, now what do we got? Timeout called by Larkin?
Yes, we do, with 30.5 seconds remaining on the Memorial Field clock. And it's going to set up a second and long, it would. Second and about 15, we'll call it.
As Coach Kelly Rice goes out to talk to his defensive squad there, he's giving Alex Crockman some words of advice, and the whole team right there, trying to inspire them to hold the Larkin Royals on a big play like this. What could be a big play situation with 30.5 seconds left in the first half, and their team down 21-2.
And again, as you watch this tape delay broadcast here on Jones Intercable, you know about the playoff situation for Larkin, which was in doubt at the time this game was played on Friday, October 24th, because IHA did not make their pairings until the following day, as you see grouping around the Royals down there. In a season that would start with hopes and visions of the 8-1 regular season, maybe 9-0, and a trip down to Hancock Stadium in Bloomington, Illinois on Thanksgiving weekend, would be in doubt as this game was played on this Friday night. But at the same time, if they did sneak in, it would sure be a treat, and certainly a bubble team the Royals were. All right, here we go. 2nd and 13 it will be. 30 seconds remaining. First half, 21-2 the count.
Very interesting to see what the play is going to be. Shotgun formation again, and Shabert rolling left.
Wants to throw this way to the near side. He's going to do so. Yarbrough had it. Couldn't catch it on about the 6-yard line. Out of bounds he falls. Good coverage that time.
Justin Becker and Michael D'Amato there. This forces Larkin now with another chance to reload the gun. The good news is for the Larkin Royals, it only cost them about 6 seconds off the play clock.
3rd and 14.
We saw the one game against DeKalb, and I know you were on the radio for that game on that night, where Larkin scored in every conceivable way in the first half. That was simply amazing.
Well, they did use a big arsenal there. DeKalb still winless as of this game, and not a very good team. But again, Larkin flexed their muscles on that night.
Might be a throw to the near side once again, as you see the 3 wideouts. 3rd and 13 it is. Shabert stumbles. He's down in college. He fell down with the wet turf. And when that knee went down at about the 34-yard line, that play was over.
Michael DiPiazza and John Holden following up there to make sure he doesn't get back up again. Clock rolling with 10 seconds left now.
4th and long. Can they get one more play off here as the half ends almost? They get the snap away with 4 seconds remaining. Toss it in the air to John. John can't catch it. Well, we have a half a second left. Turnover of downs, and the Maroons will have a chance for one final fling into the air if they want to take it.
Well, they're going to that John Olish connection again, and Michael D'Amato there playing defense on him in this important game for both teams. Again, it's a 21-2 game, 5/10 of a second left. Probably, I don't know how many other football stadiums have that,
Not many.
1/10 of a second clock.
First one I've ever seen, really, with the brand new stadium clock here. And for this year, Olish has caught 3 touchdown passes. We'll recap those quickly for you as we have one more play for the Maroons. One could think that Bentley can toss this as far and long as he wants, or he can just knee it and say, let's go into the locker room. Let's see how they play it. Bentley, the quarterback, he'll knee it and go into the locker room. We've answered our own question there. So that's going to be the first half right there. The Royals scoring on touchdown passes from Shabert to Olish of 49, 6, and 23 yards. The Maroons score a safety, and that's where we stand here on the Town Jug Classic. Our halftime count is Larkin 21, Elgin 2. I tell you what, we shall take this time out. We'll continue with more action after these.
At the heart of every community are the people who get involved and make good things happen. People like your neighbors at Jones Intercable.
Hi, I'm State Treasurer Judy Barr Topinka. Thanks, Jones Intercable, for your help in partnering with the State Treasurer's Office to bring our Ready Access program to the public to benefit the handicapped. Our banks, our financial institutions, you, Jones Intercable, we love you.
Jones Intercable. It's a smart choice.
Hi, this is Jeff Myers of the Jones Intercable Weekend Review with another cable news break. On Saturday, October 4th, at our Customer Appreciation Day, we heard these comments from Elgin's Dora Davis about Jones Intercable.
I like everything. I like the romantic movies channel. I like history, and that's good that we have it now. A&E channel, that's the one. I love it.
A big thank you to all our customers. Jones Intercable, a smart choice in Elgin. Welcome back to second half action. We're just about ready for third quarter play here in our Town Jug Night game it is. Elgin playing host to Larkin. Larkin leading here at the as we begin third quarter action, 21-2. You know, John Prigge, we enjoy great food from the barbecue man, Larry Gerber. And I can hardly move here in the second half.
If you need me to take over, let me know.
Yeah, you're ready. You're just one heartbeat away from play-by-play, young man. 289-4477. The barbecue man, he's an Elgin institution. We'll tell you more about him at the end of this quarter. Well, we're ready to go. It is going to be, in this situation for third quarter play, the Maroons kicking off. Joe Arome will do so. And we'll get, if you were here on this Friday night, you know that somebody walked away with a brand new car, courtesy of Money Magazine. There's the squibber kick. It's going to be picked up on the far side by no one. Vince says not this time. It goes out of bounds. And that's going to be the penalty against the Maroons there as the ball rolls out.
Well, we do see Teddy Bedford coming out to the field here, walking out there with Ryan Hoffman. Again, Elgin's going to need Bedford under any strength or any type of condition, because the Maroons have dug themselves a pretty big hole here with 21-2 looking at the beginning of the second half.
Yeah, you want to get that to respectability. But at this point, you think you can still win the game, but you want to make sure you stay close. So it's not a lopsided game by any stretch of the imagination. As we get a chance to put in focus some of the action going on there on the field, the referee is going to size things up for us. Shabert will take the troop to the line, and the Royals will open up play on their own 35-yard line. 1st and 10 it is. Hand it off. Here comes Vince. Weber runs left, falls forward, going to pick up about 5 yards.
Well, we might be looking at a long ground attack from the Larkin Royals right now. 21-2. Elgin really hasn't even been putting any type of a threat together so far. So it might be Dale Schabert, the coach's plan to kind of grind this game out here, at least on the ground.
As we said, we'd have no problem with Weber getting a lot of carries on this night, and so far that has been the case, but all the offensive strikes have come through the air. 2nd and 5, 40-yard line as you see. Schabert brings him up. Great sophomore season for this kid. Handed off Vincent. Vincent runs left. He'll get about 4 yards, maybe just shy of that first down.
Well, Michael DiPiazza, who's been all over the field tonight too, made a nice tackle right there to bring Weber down here, and it looks like it's going to be very close to the first down, Jeff.
Probably about 3rd and 1 it will be for Vince and the troops. Wouldn't be surprised if Vince got it once again here. This could be a snappily played second half with Weber, lots of carries, depending on how much the Royals will have it football-wise. Here it is, 3rd and short. It's going to go with the pass into the flat, which is almost like a running play for these guys, to John Olish. John is going to be shy of that first down, is he not?
Yeah, it looks like he may have even lost a yard or two on that play. He wasn't able to get around the corner there and get anything upfield.
That's usually money in the bank on this Money Magazine night, but not that time in the flat when John comes back 2 yards to receive it. But he did not make up the additional yardage, and it will be 4th and about 2, I would say, and a long one maybe. So they're going to go for it just like that. That's confidence in the ground game, and also the fact it's a 21-2 lead. So 4th, 1. Let's see how this will go out with the power backfield it is for the Royals. Schabert shouts it out. Hand it off he will. It will go to Casey that time. And he gets that first down, as you see, crashes over the line of scrimmage. Picks up about 3 yards plus, 1st and 10 Larkin.
Casey Kluckstall has been a big part of this season for the Larkin Royals. They really needed his senior leadership, and I think the coaching staff for the Royals are very happy with his production this year.
Yep, he's got those tough yardage, as you saw right there. Vince and Hayes have been spectacular. Casey's been consistent. Power formation is going to hand it off once again to Casey. He's going to bounce off a couple of would-be tacklers, get across the midfield stripe to about the 45-yard line of Elgin.
And Alex Crockman, another big leader on the Maroon defense with the tackle there. Casey Kluckstall, as I was saying before this play took off, is that he really has been a big part of this team. He's been a player of the game earlier in the year, and a good, solid two-way performer for the Larkin Royals.
2nd and 3 it will be for Larkin. 9:15 remain, 3rd quarter action. Again with the 3 backs in the backfield for Coach Schabert. Handed off Vince. He's running right. He'll have the first down just barely, but gets across the 42. 1st and 10 Larkin.
Well, Vince Weber looks like he's going to be the workhorse for the rest of the game. And again, Larkin is keeping the ball on the ground, chewing up the clock. 8:57, and the clock still rolling down, just underway in the second half.
Bringing some new troops off the bench. Coach Schabert is here for this 1st and 10 situation. By now you know all the numbers for Vince Weber, but he did have a very workmanlike duty here on this final Friday night. Power backfield it is once again for the Royals. Man in motion, going to be Casey dancing along the backfield. Hey, there's a mishandle there. Fumble picked up by Schabert. He wanted to fake, if you will, and then he got the football knocked away from him, then he fell on it.
Well, it looks like what he did is he handed off to the back going through, and I don't think the back was expecting the handoff, and the ball bounced Larkin's way so that Schabert could kind of cover up and start him over again.
Sets up about a 2nd and 13, we're going to call it. And 45-yard line it will be. 21-2 the count if you join us late. If it's Tuesday night and you're watching us on the Jones Intercable tape delay telecast, you can see the broadcast in its entirety Thursday from 6 until just after 8 p.m. Here we go once again. 7:55 remain. Shotgun formation. Schabert drops back, looks, tosses over the head of Stan Yarborough. Had about 4 Maroons around him.
Well, he's just been throwing perfect, I think, as far as, even though the pass was incomplete, the passes have been there all year, I think, for Matt. He's had a few miscues here and there, but we're watching an outstanding sophomore quarterback here, and I think that, you know, for the future for the Larkin Royals, at least on the offensive side, it certainly looks bright.
It does indeed. 3rd and 13 it will be. Oh, the fireworks. Did you hear that? There are special fireworks here. There are at the conclusion of this game, and occasionally, I don't know whether somebody's sneaking over there into the firework pile and playing havoc. Occasionally one goes off when you least expect it. There's another. Ooh, I'm scared. So close to Halloween. Vince Weber the carry. Vince will move up to really the original line of scrimmage. It'll be about 4th and 9 on this one.
Justin Becker in on the tackle there, and JB's had a pretty good game here as well, along with Ryan Hoffman. Their names have been called out quite a bit. And, you know, Justin Becker, I would like to see him kind of get in the offensive swing of things here, too, because he's been in the running back position a few times this year.
Yes, he has. 4th and 9 it will be. Might as well continue to churn it out. You're winding the clock down, if I can say that. Pretty good field position. 40-yard line of Elgin you're on. Got the good running attack. They're going to kick. As soon as I say that, they're going to play a little havoc, but no, they're going to bring the punter in. John's going to boot this away from about midfield. Here we'll have the snap. Looks like a picture out there. Then we see some movement for the Maroons. There's a snap to John. Boots it away. Kick is going to be in the direction of Jimmy Roby, but it goes out of bounds at about the 8-yard line.
Well, the way they'll mark that ball is probably going to be squarely on the 10, maybe the 10.5-yard line. As Jeff, as you've commented many times this year during games, it's always hard for the referee to know exactly in the air where that ball went out of bounds at.
Oh, it is tough. It's just sheer guesswork. And not an exacting science, not unlike this telecast.
Is that right?
Yeah. Hey, you know, our good friend Larry Gerber is going to be having his own show on the U46 radio station, WEPS. I've got a brain cramp, 88.1 or 88.9? 88.9 on your FM dial, of course. Friday, October 31st, his first show at 2:30 in the afternoon. I'm going to learn how to cook from my own radio. Can you believe it?
Without a microwave?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, indeed. I'm going to use my radio waves in a microwave way. Here we go. 1st and 10, 12-yard line. Going to hand it off. D'Amato, the quarterback. Hey, you know who's out there for the first time all night running back-wise? A familiar-looking person it will be, of course, Steve Rapp with the carry.
Well, you know, I saw Steve Rapp coming into the game. I saw him coming into the field earlier during the sophomore game. And you're right, Jeff. That's the name that we forgot to mention, and we haven't seen him until right now.
Yeah, he had some good games, of course, and got that stylish, not bending the body too much running style that he's so familiar with. He's had a pretty good season. 2nd and 8 it will be, their own 16-yard line for the Maroons. You'd like to see these guys get a touchdown or two. D'Amato, the quarterback. Again, he's more of the scrambler, not the passer. He keeps the football. He's got the option. He says, I want it all. Michael will get across the 20 to about the 22-yard line. Do we see a flag down there, John Priggy?
Well, we sure did. It came from about the left-hand side of the line for Elgin. I got a feeling that's going to be marked off against the Maroons again. And if that is the case, boy, they have really just been, I think every one of the Maroons has got shovels in their back pockets because they've been digging holes all night for themselves.
Yes, they have, and it's going to march it to the north end of Memorial Field. There you see the hold call by the referee. It's against Elgin. Again, the shovels are coming out because that's a long walk backwards.
2nd and 11.
Well, another miscue that's cost the Maroons a chance to get something going and get something on the board here as we are. 5 minutes and 50 seconds left in the second quarter and clock running.
Bedford and Rapp are the I formation running backs. D'Amato, the quarterback. They got a wide receiver, 2 in nature on the near side. D'Amato might be in the throwing nature here. Shouts it out. D'Amato will hand it off to Bedford. Is there any room there? You might have tried to lateral it back, but he can't do it, and Teddy's going to lose some yardage.
Well, he sure is, and he had a host of Royals around him. It looks like number 76 for the Larkin Royals, Sean Bell. Sean Bell, he's all of a 5'11", 185-pound senior, guard and defensive end. He plays both ways, as do a lot of the Larkin Royals.
This is a throwing situation, so number 12, Todd Bentley, suits up once again at the QB position. He'll be ready to toss it away just out of your camera range and television set range there. As he's in the throwing nature, he's going to have receivers both far and wide and one man in the slot. Bentley drops back into the slot. It will go. It's caught by Stephen Rapp, but he's not going to get much of anything, but he might get a face mask here called against him. As he was brought down, what happened? The flies came out.
Yeah, it sure did look like a face mask here that's going to be called against John Olish. If that's the case, yes, it is.
Olish has been the man of the night. He's got 3 touchdown passes, 49, 6 yards, and 23 yards. But that time he got the face mask. That's going to be a first down for the Maroons. See where they mark it, but they will get the first down. That'll get them out of the dangerous territory a little bit here. You can still hear the excited crowd talking, of course, after the Money Magazine folks gave away that car in kind of a game show format. As folks had a key and they'd see if they could start the car.
What was the name of that Wink Martindale game
Split
show?
Second. I used to come home from college to watch that years ago.
I used to come home from grade school and watch that.
Well, maybe that wasn't college. I'm not good with dates.
That's what I've heard.
That's right. All right, let's get back to this football. 4:35, third quarter remaining. And here we go. The Maroons sprint up to the line of scrimmage, as you're used to in grade school. 22-yard line for Elgin. Bentley's ready to pass once again. And let's see if they can put this pigskin in the air. Roby in motion, dancing along the line of scrimmage. Bentley dropping back, looking, scampering, tossing. Whoa! Maroon caught that, was brought down on his tracks. It's going to be, I think, a penalty on Larkin. Even though it was caught, there's probably a little pass interference.
Well, Min Kim was right there, grabbed the pass, and kept his wherewithal about him, and then 2 or 3 flags come flying. This could be a late game. You know, the way it was starting out with Larkin on the ball control in the beginning of the second half, you kind of thought that the clock would be running fast and we'd be looking at an early fourth quarter, but penalties have kind of slowed it down.
Just a tad. 4:14 remain in this third quarter. So here we go. D'Amato, the running quarterback, back in there for Kelly Rice. Bentley must have stepped to the sidelines as they march this up all the way up to about the 40, or check that, the 36-yard line of the Maroons.
1st and 10, Elgin.
1st and 10. Sprint up to the line of scrimmage. Once again, you see it. For Elgin, it would be the Maroon pride factor to get across the goal line here, score a touchdown in the game against the favored Larkin Royals. Split back situation it will be. Going to hand it off to Bedford. No, pitch back to Roby. Runs left. Jimmy across the 35, the 40 to 45. Midfield 45, 40. Roby still scampering. He's going to be pushed out of bounds at about the 25-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you what, Roby will get credit for the run, but give almost all of that yardage to Michael O'Donnell, who made an outstanding block against the Larkin defender that really freed up Roby to make that big gain.
Jimmy, a good-looking running back, of course, and he's had some good games early in the season. He had a couple of touchdown games. Hasn't had all that much offensive luck in recent times. There's Jimmy running to the sideline right now. He and Walker are good friends, of course. Here we go back to action. 3:45, third quarter remaining. They're going to mark it on the 25, 1st and 10 for the Maroons. Walker in there now along with Bedford at the running backs. There's Teddy. Teddy gets the handoff. In Bedford falls forward for about 1.5 yards. Take about a 2nd and 8 on that one, John Prigge.
Let's let that one lie. That's the best way for Elgin to get something going here too. Clock winding down with about 3 minutes and 25 seconds, and they've got to establish a little bit of the run game here, Jeff.
Oh, they do. This is a good long run by Roby, and certainly they're almost in the red zone. So this is more what we were talking about. If you're a Maroon fan watching, you want your troops to get in there and not lay down and die, if you will. So they're approaching it in 2nd and 8. They want to hang on to it here and see if they can come up with a 6-pointer. Bedford and Roby now the backfield. Roby, the deep back, gives off to Teddy. Teddy, boy, he almost, well, I'll check that. Ending up with it, it was a fake to Teddy. Nicely done. Then D'Amato held on to it. He doesn't pick up much, but does fake me out. Maybe about 1 yard he picks up.
Well, again, I would imagine that the field down there is a little slick. It's probably, it is cold out. I don't think it's below freezing, but it's awfully close to that. And you've got the lights, and you've got the overall condensation factor. That's a big point at this time of night.
And the residue of the fireworks, I think. As we've seen a few here tonight, although there's those fancy fireworks. No leftover stuff.
At least that's what the package says.
That's right. 2:25, third quarter remain. Hey, they might throw to the near side here. There's multi-wideouts here on this near side. D'Amato instead is going to run left. He scampers, can't get across that line of scrimmage. Michael just not the passing threat. He's got good foot speed, can't get free that time. Gets to about near the 20-yard line for a 4th and long 5.
Well, I'll tell you who's really upset about that series of downs is Kelly Rice. He's on the sidelines there just besides himself. He just can't understand why those plays are not working. They look good on the chalkboard.
Yeah, they do. You think he was intending to throw there or just scamper to his left on the quarterback bootleg?
Well, Lars Patterson is going to go in there and tell Michael D'Amato what the coach thinks about that play in the series, as we now have 4th and 5 with 1:40 and the clock winding down here in the third quarter.
All right. D'Amato remains the quarterback.
And they should be going for it like they are, too. No field goal necessary here.
You see Teddy Bedford, number 7, in your television set right there. D'Amato shouts it out, handed off to Teddy. No, he's going to throw. He tosses it. It's going to be caught. Going to be a touchdown. Mike DiPiazza. A touchdown of 20 yards, and the Maroons have scored.
Kind of a local connection right there if you look at it, from D'Amato to DiPiazza. Nice play, nice play. Childhood friends from the Lord Park Manor area, Jeff Myers.
Ah, that's a wonderful moment. That's what we were talking about. D'Amato to DiPiazza, 20 yards. 1:23 remaining here in the third stanza, and the Maroons have scored the conventional way. They've got the 6-pointer. Joe Romy with the extra point. You know, Joe's mom always here for all the games. She enjoys them. There's the placement. Oh, it's blocked.
Boy, blocked and blocked hard, too.
Yes, indeed. So obviously it's not good, and the score remains 21-8. Larkin with the lead there, but a touchdown for the Maroons. A long run by Roby, John Prigge, we should say, and then DiPiazza, the reception from D'Amato.
Perhaps that's by design, so the Maroons can score 14 and go home 22-21.
Yeah. We've had some thrillers here at Memorial Field. Of course, the Lake Park Larkin game.
That would be a repeat of the 1983 game, Jeff.
That's right. Some of the great history, and it has been wonderful history. When it all began October 18th, 1962 in a junior varsity tilt some 35 years ago for Larkin against Elgin. Larkin, of course, opening up that first year. And for the Maroons this year, 100 years of continuous sport. That has been what they've enjoyed in this 1997 year.
So you can talk about tradition all you want on both sides of town, but it really is here when it comes down to it. And it's in black and white. 100 years here, you've got a great long tradition of good, outstanding football at Larkin. In the Larkin-Elgin matchups since their inception, Larkin leads the series 21-15. 36 games have been played over 35 years. In 1990, there were 2 games, and that last one was a playoff game, Elgin versus Larkin, that a lot of you folks remember reading about in the paper. That was a crushing defeat for the Maroons. They weren't really expected to win that game, but they were very close and led, if I'm not mistaken, throughout most of that game.
It was a very exciting game, and that's just recent history, that 1990. And, of course, Larkin went on to play East St. Louis, and we'll often talk about that whole 90 season. Here's the boot by Joe Romy. It is going to be towards Vince Weber. It's going to go into the end zone. It'll be brought out.
Nice kick.
Yeah, wonderful kick there. It just went dead. Look at how it went dead at just across the goal line. There must be a gopher out there. There's got to be some kind of stoppage of football play out there.
Well, after the fireworks, there'll be a lot of holes in the ground, that's for sure. But
right.
This could be Gopher Land East. You never know.
So it'll be brought out to the 20. First and 10 for the Royals. 21-8 is the count. Tape delay telecast coming away here on Jones Intercable. Yours truly, Jeff Myers. There's John Prigge, and we have a wonderful cast, of course. Rich Hirschberg and all the troops here. We have just enjoying the great food of Larry Gerber, the barbecue man. I'm going to tell you about him in just a couple of moments. First and 10, and of course, the coaching staff of Elgin High in the background. Shabert, the toss to Yarborough. In the flat, he's running. 25-20, there's a clip. It'll come back at a certain point, but he gets about 17 yards. And maybe another flag here as they roughed him up a little bit out of bounds.
Boy, that's really a jammed up and jelly tight along that line there. I got a feeling that we're going to see, and that's going to be a little slow to getting up there along the Elgin High bench right there.
Yeah, it's a hold against the Royals, and that'll bring it back here. And I guess nothing called at the end of that play when Yarborough was forced out of bounds. You see the flag laying right there?
Well, it's tough to defend against a pass like that, especially when you've got guys like Matt Shabert and Yarborough and Alish just running that, and all the other wide receivers. I was going to say, yes, in that situation, it's tough to defend against that. Just a one-step drop back, and boom, with the good arm that Matt Shabert has, you're going to get a completion, and you only just have one man to beat then.
All right, here we go. You see the Maroon bench there. Now the Royals coming up to the line of scrimmage. They'll mark it on the 15-yard line. First and 15 with 60 seconds remaining here in the third stanza. Shabert, the fake, gets it off to Hayes. Hayes is going to run right, and he's brought down by the Maroons. 33 on 33 that time, John Prigge.
Well, Quinn Leonard looked like he was watching an episode of Dallas this morning during the rodeo segment, because he just jumped up and grabbed him. I don't know if that's a picture book tackle, but I suppose if you're chasing down a very fast sophomore and your team's down 21-8, you get him out any way you can.
Yahoo!
That's right.
Almost that cowboy out there. As Quinn did a nice job on that. Hayes is tough to catch in the open field. Again, he's the future running back threat in a great tradition the Royals have established here over the years. It's going to be 2nd and 11, their own 20-yard line. Final play time for the third stanza. Shabert drops back. There's a good look at the sophomore. There's a toss. That play never got underway. There was a whistle before then. So it'll come back motion on the offense, no doubt. We'll see by the referee. That's what we see. That'll set up a 2nd and 16 from the 15-yard line for the Royals.
I wonder if this with the first couple of seconds left down in the third quarter here, 12.2 seconds left to be more accurate. I wonder what Coach Shabert and all of their assistant coaches are wondering right now, because I think the Royals have been kind of flat in the second half.
Just a little bit in this third quarter. Only the Maroons have scored, and now the third quarter is history. The count remains Larkin 21 and Elgin 8 at the end of this third stanza. And with this break in the action, it's going to be brought to you by Larry Gerber of Barbecue Man fame, an Elgin-based food consulting and reporting firm for cooking instruction classes, freelance writing and reporting assignments, recipe development, and just the wildest tie-dye kitchen apparel available. You can call the Barbecue Man. He's easily accessible. You can call him at 289-4477. That's 289-4477 with, of course, the 847 area code. That's Jones Intercable's good friend, Larry Gerber, the Barbecue Man. He's developing his own sauce that's going to be bottled and out on the market, I think, shortly.
Is that right?
For meat, you know, for your barbecue. That's right. Hey, there's some crowd. Are you out there, Larkin fans? Yeah, that's me. That's me, Myrtle. I was right there. I got that hood on. You can tell Mom that was me. Our crafty camera caught you right on camera.
Well, from this angle right here, it looks like there's not a lot of Larkin Royal fans, but if you look on the far right, they're all standing to the right of that radio banner, WRMN radio banner. They're all standing there in huddled masses, because when you're close, you generate heat.
Yes. Give me your cold, you're tired, you're poor on a Friday night at Memorial. It's a pretty good crowd. It's not a sensational crowd, but the weather turned foul on this particular night. Second and 16, it will be their own 15-yard line for the Royals. A tad flat here in the second half, as John Frigge pointed out. Again, they've got the substantial lead. Schaebert drops back. Looks like he wanted a draw play maybe. Instead, he'll toss to the far left side. Who's there? No one. I think in the area, perhaps it was going to be Hayes.
Well,
Hayes all the way over there.
He certainly does have the speed, and it was just a situation where that ball was just hung up there a little bit too hot and heavy. And came down like a ton of bricks, Jeff.
Got a great arm. Schaebert's had a marvelous season. He just tossed 34 passes in the Lake Park game, and going to have a couple hundred passes on the season, and been a fine season. If you wondered, was he too young as a sophomore to take over the reins? No, sir. He answered the test really from the get-go.
Without a doubt.
So it sets up a 3rd and 16 here in the final quarter of play, certainly for the Maroons in this 97 season. There's the snap to Schaebert, who ambles, doesn't have much time, gets the toss off, throws it over the head of Yarbrough, almost intercepted out there by one of the Maroons. Was that D'Amato on the far side?
Sure looks like it. Yes, it was.
D'Amato, who just threw a pass to DiPiazza, almost intercepted there, and he would have had a second touchdown with the field ahead of him.
So now the Royals are going to be punting now with 11:46. We're just underway in the fourth quarter. 11:46 remaining. The Larkin Royals with a 21-8 lead.
So good offensive possession and field position here by the Maroons. You know, a quick strike, and we could have a game a little not unlike last year, but it was close into the fourth quarter. This might go the other way. Not close, and the Maroons come back. As Larkin will boot it away from their own 5. They do so. It's a line shot. Let's see how Roby plays it. Bounce it about the 49 to his own 44. Roby scoops it up in shortstop style. Roby to the 45. Brought down right there about the 47 by a wall of tacklers.
Boy, he just didn't have any help there at all, and there's nothing you can do on a punt like that. You just can't wait long enough for your wedge to form. So, again, Maroons don't have that bad a field position, but again, they just haven't been able to get on track here. Penalties have killed the Maroons in their offensive drives.
So they mark this their own 46-yard line. That's pretty good. 1st and 10. You know, if they score here, this will go right down to the wire. 11:32 remaining in regulation. You know the outcome by now, but let's see how it came about as you watch here on this tape delay coverage in Jones Intercable. Teddy Bedford out there. Also looks like Roby, the other man, the deep back in the I formation. Wide out on the right side. Dropping back Bentley. That means he'll throw. Todd zips it into the hands of one of the Royals, and he had it, he dropped it, he missed it.
Jamie Luzinski right there. Boy, I'll tell you what, he's hurting probably for not catching that ball and hanging on to it, but that's a big stop for for the Larkin Royals.
Yeah, Luzinski had it for a split second, didn't even try to run, just tried to hang on to it a little bit, and then almost firmed up the grasp, but then couldn't hang on to it. 2nd and 10. O'Donnell comes in. He's the leading receiver for the Maroons this year. And Bentley comes out, so D'Amato as a running QB will come back in for Kelly Rice. So look for the option play here by Michael. Although he did toss the 20-yard pass just a few moments ago. I formation it is. Bedford and Roby the backs. Handed off Bedford. Bedford gets across midfield to about the 49. He'll pick up 5 yards.
I think one of the things that's hurt Elgin is they're not showing any type of accomplishment in the passing game, Jeff. I think a lot of times they've been looking to make some passes. They needed to make some passes just to kind of free up that ground game, and they haven't been able to do it.
Not so far. 3rd and 6 it is. This is a big 3rd down. Again, you play these games for pride at the end of the year when you know you're not going to the playoffs, but really no additional information needed to get ready for a game Elgin against Larkin. Just say the words and you're ready. Wide outs on the near side, just out of your television set range. So if D'Amato is throwing, it'll be this way. Instead, he's got the option again. He's going to be far short of that 1st down, maybe pick up a yard plus, set up about a 4th and 5.
Well, definitely a punting situation, you would think right now. But again, the ball's marked at Larkin's 48. And are they going to go for it, Jeff? Looks like a timeout's going to be called for the Maroons. They're going to take a little time to think about this one.
The season began for the Maroons back on that final Friday in August with a 31-17 win over Niles West. They had a good early run, won 3 of their first 4, but then John Prigge, starting with the West Aurora encounter, I guess it was kind of downhill from there.
Well, West Aurora, I felt was a very good team. I mean, they're in that very tough DuPage Valley Conference. They've got an outstanding quarterback there, and that kid Presby, who's a junior. And then you're right, they weren't really able to put anything together against West Aurora. They've had mediocre success throughout the Upstate 8. I think they were expected to be a little bit better than a 500 team. And now if they beat Larkin here tonight, which they'd have to come back from a 21-8 deficit, that would still make them a 1 game below 500 team for the year.
So here we go. Looks like D'Amato's he's leaving the huddle right now. So Bentley will be back in at QB. So it'll be a 4th and 4. Now this would be a passing situation with Bentley, although he does have Bedford there. If you need 4 yards in one rush, it can often be Bentley, but it's going to be the shotgun formation for Todd. Often be Bedford, we should say. So Todd's got throwing in mind here. Low snap, he's got it. Not much time. Screen it is to DiPiazza. He's got the 1st down. He'll fall forward to about the 36-yard line.
Boy, I'll tell you, the funny thing about that is it looked like Vince Weber was almost in to Bentley's face on that. Looks like he was coming from the linebacking position there to put the rush on Bentley, and Bentley was able to keep his cool and get that pass completed. A nice 1st down, aggressive play for the Elgin Maroons.
Yes, it was. DiPiazza caught a touchdown pass with 1:23 remaining in the 3rd quarter. So he's been a favorite connection right now, QB-wise, although that pass was from, of course, D'Amato, who's now back in there, the most recent from Bentley. I formation it will be. Teddy Bedford down out there right now. D'Amato with it. He'll hand it off to no one. He wants the quarterback keeper. He might just go 37 yards. No, he's brought down right there. Wow, around one more man, and he was gone. He'll get to about the 22-yard line.
That looked like a broken play, Jeff Myers, unless he faked everybody else out very, very well. Stan Yarborough with what could have been a touchdown-saving tackle.
Yeah, certainly D'Amato has running in mind first, and then the option second. Pitching or throwing as his 3rd option. So he's got the 1st and 10, 22-yard line. It gets a score here for the Maroons. Larkin fans can be a little concerned. Certainly on this Friday night, the tape delay, there's no worry for anybody, as you watch right now. But if you are here, Bedford's back in there. He's the up man in the I formation. Oh, there's movement by Roby, but he'll get away with it. He dances to the right, handed off to Teddy. Teddy Bedford across the 20 to about the 19-yard line. Set up a 2nd and 7 it will now for the Maroons.
Well, Jeff, I think they've got to score on this set of possessions. I think they've got to get this ball in the end zone now. 8:57 left in the 4th quarter. The Maroons are down 21-8, and they have to score, if for any other reason, just for their own psyche, to close out the season, saying that they were able to score at least 2 touchdowns against Larkin.
Bedford comes out. 2nd and 8. They'll mark it now from the 20-yard line. Sets up perhaps a throwing situation to the near side, although D'Amato is the quarterback. Michael O'Donnell wide out on the near side. Split back formation it will be. Roby, one of those, going to hand it off. No, D'Amato with the keeper once again, the sweep. He's going to get across the line of scrimmage, fall forward, get to about the 16-yard line. He'll be about 3 yards shy of that 1st down.
Well, the front line for Elgin just couldn't hold the blocks long enough for D'Amato to get around to the left end and pick up some more yardage than what he actually garnered on that play.
Yeah, they mark it at the 16. He has to go to about 13 as it looks, so it's about 3rd and a short 4 is what it will be. see how they play it. And it's going to be Bentley back in there. Most rotation of the QB for Kelly Rice this season, certainly in this game.
I think so, without a doubt. Lake Park against Larkin last week did a lot of rotation, especially in the overtime.
Singular back, it's Roby. Shotgun formation, Bentley. Calls it out. Bentley's got it. He'll look, he'll run, he'll scramble. Still on his feet, still can toss it. He's not going to get that first down. He's going to get caught behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, Adam Connor was all over that pursuit there, and that's what kind of set Vince Weber up. Vince playing a lot of defense in this series here, and that was a very important stop for the Larkin Royals.
Sets up a 4th and 6. They'll go for it. Here comes Teddy Bedford. So let's see how they play that if Bentley stays out there. Big 4th down for the Maroons. 7:15 remain. It's 21-8 Larkin. The Royals have not scored in a while. The Maroons scored in the 3rd quarter to make it respectable. Here, they're playing for pride, but also a quick score here and maybe the onside kick. They'd be all right. Bentley looking, not much time. He'll toss it to Bedford. Teddy's got it. Spins. 5, falls forward as he's just shy of the goal line.
What a nice thread-the-needle pass from a very hurried and harried Todd Bentley down to Bedford. We haven't seen Bedford catch many passes this year, Jeff Myers.
Not a one till that moment. Not often. Not often for Teddy Bedford with the reception. But he knows what to do with it when he gets it in the open field. Never stops churning up the field. And Phil plopped across the goal line, but his stoppage of play put him at about the 1.
Well, now Michael D'Amato comes in with a new backfield. Justin Becker in the backfield. And he's going to line up right next to, is that Ralph Moore, number 30?
I think so. I think D'Amato's going to take this in himself here. That's what you would think here. D'Amato, I formation it is. Gets the snap. He tries. Oh, he's brought down in his tracks. Did he hand it off? Did D'Amato keep it and lose? Yes, he did.
Yes, he sure did. Vince Weber was in on that. How many times have we seen Vince Weber come in and sack a quarterback? How many times in his career has that happened?
D'Amato loses a lot in a situation where you almost, if you fall forward, you can't lose. He went to his left and backwards. Didn't have any time, but he lost a substantial amount of yardage here at this point in the red zone.
Well, somebody missed a block here, and hopefully that will not cost the Maroons a touchdown, as they're now 2nd and 4 with 6:01 left in the 4th quarter.
On the 4, 2nd and goal it would be then. Let's see how they play it. Bedford back in there. I can see him carrying along the right side. D'Amato is the QB. Shouts it out. That squat formation he has at the line of scrimmage. Hand it off Teddy. Teddy's not going far, but let's see how far forward he can go to about the 2. So it sets up about a 3rd goal, 2.5-yard line for the Maroons.
Well, I think Elgin's thinking they're catching Larkin napping in this series here. After that big play that Bedford nearly scored on, and now that the Maroons are starting to drive now, they're probably thinking Larkin is napping right now on defense.
Roby out, Walker in, so it should be Bedford and Walker, the running backs. 3rd and 3 officially. Nudge just inside the 3-yard line. Walker, the scat back. Bedford, the big guy. You see Teddy there right behind the quarterback, D'Amato. Here's the handoff. No, D'Amato keep it. Quarterback keeper, is he over? He is over. D'Amato, a touchdown of 3 yards with 5:04 remaining. And the Maroons aren't dead yet in this 97 season.
It kind of looked like another busted play, Jeff Myers. I don't know if he was, if it was just a situation where he was able to keep his head and go with it, or if it was a design play to have the Maroons score that touchdown. But a big touchdown, 5:04 left. It's now 21-14. And the point after kick coming right now from Joe Laromi.
Yeah, they'll go with the conventional as they trail by 7 here. Why not? Joe had his kick blocked in the 3rd quarter after the Maroons scored. Joe, a very efficient kicker. He's had a field goal this year. 42 yards. There goes that sudden unexpected firework. And this one will be good. And the Maroons trail by only 6 here in the Old Town Jug game.
Well, I told you this is a very important game, and again, it's slightly more important for Larkin as far as their future goes, but to get that jug back on the east side of the river, I got a feeling that's what a lot of Maroons are thinking about here tonight.
Look at Teddy going crazy, leading the troops on. There's the team leader for the Maroons, Bedford, number 7, as you can see, shouting to his teammates, realizing his varsity career is over in 5:04. Leading those troops on. Teddy will go on to be an outstanding football player in college, of course, as he's been looked at by a number of teams. So it's exciting to see him leading the troops on.
Here's the time that if you're a senior and you're a starter, or if you're a senior and an occasional player, now you have to look at it and say, yeah, this is the end of my high school career. Every play, every tackle, every assignment has to be met with execution, with a lot of diligence, because it is going to be, for many of these players, the last high school football play they're going to be involved in.
Or football of any time. It is amazing. It is something to think about. Of course, at that age, if you thought about it, you'd be frozen in your shoes. It's old men like, well, semi-old men in your case, in the booth that think about that and speculate that. So here we go. Rome's going to boot it away. 5:04 remain. Now the Maroon fan section in front of us, and Bedford's waving his helmet from the sidelines, leading the troops on. They want to get this football back one more time, John Prigge.
We're going to see an onside kick here, Jeff?
I would think that would be a possibility. You don't have to, but they're going to boot long. That's all right as well. To Hayes. Hayes at his own 2. To the 5. 10. Trevan on the far side. 20. 25. He'll be brought down about at the 27-yard line.
Well, brought down exclusively by Michael O'Donnell here. Now, defense is the name of the game for Elgin. For the Larkin Royals, I think if they can just get a first down here, 1 or 2 first downs here on the ground, I think they can probably salt the game away here. 4:57 left. Still a lot of time for both teams, but first downs are going to be the key for the Royals.
Yes, indeed. 1st and 10, their own 27. 4:57, as you mentioned, remain in the season. 21-15. This is what you like to see. Money Magazine, folks from New York here seeing football Illinois style. They're seeing a well-played second half, a competitive game. The Royals have the football. I formation it will be. Going to hand it off to Vince. Runs left. 31-yard line. He'll get 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Michael D'Amato with the tackle on that. Let's give credit to Joel Arome, who had an outstanding kick that gave the Larkin Royals a chance on the 2-yard line. You know, again, they still got nice field position out of it, but you can't really ask much more from your kicker than to kick it down to the other guys, too.
No, you really can't. Did a good job with that. Clock becoming a factor now with just 4:30 remaining regulation. The Maroons, they want to get that football back with a lot of time, want to stop them here on this drive. Royal fans are saying with our running backs, we should be able to pick up 10 yards and 3 carries. 2nd and 6. Oh, there's movement in the offensive line for the Royals. That'll make it 2nd and 11 now as Larkin jumped.
Well, a big round of applause from the Elgin side and also from the players up and down the sidelines here. Now, if they just can keep the game under control mentally, they may have Larkin at a big deficit here. 2nd and 11, as you call it, Jeff.
Yes, the second half just as exciting as the cooking instruction classes you can attend from Larry Gerber, the barbecue man. When it comes to food of all style, the barbecue man is our favorite. 289-4477 as he supplies the good eats today for this game broadcast. Here we go, 2nd and 11, 26-yard line. Shabert wants to toss. Matt scrambling near side. Tosses, almost intercepted. Oh, that was close.
When that play was developing, I kind of thought there's nobody open. He couldn't possibly pass it. But Casey Kluckstall thought he could get on the short end of that one. And again, almost picked off by Justin Becker.
Oh, that sets up 3rd and 11. Boy, what a game it is. Fans coming out of everywhere now and enjoying this game. And this is a treat. If the season must end, you might as well go down badly.
Credit the secondary for the Maroons and not giving Matthew Shabert anybody to throw to.
No, he was scrambling. The Royals, as you pointed out, have not been on their offensive flow here after they had 3 touchdown passes in the first half. They have not scored here in the second half of play.
This is a big play.
It is indeed. Nice thinking. 3:50 remaining. Regulation. 3rd and 11. Their own 26. Matt, not much time. Screen pass. Far side to Kluckstall. Casey with it is going to be stopped before the first down. Punting situation for Larkin.
Well, let's take a look at the tackles on that one. Michael D'Amato followed up and finished off nicely by Ryan Hoffman to give the Royals a punting situation right now. Roby will be in the backfield. Looks like Shaylon Walker will be deep for the Maroons to catch this punt.
Yeah, so Roby, Walker back there, and they're really on fire, led by Teddy Bedford here. Couple of touchdowns one by throwing by quarterback D'Amato, another by running by quarterback D'Amato, have taken the Maroons from looking like they were out of things totally to knocking on the door to tying with the 6-pointer and winning with the extra point.
Don't be surprised of a fake here.
All right, it's 4th and 5 technically. Yeah, don't jump. Everybody's saying if you're a Maroon fan here. Larkin, the snap, the boot will take place from 25-yard line, we should say. Roby's going to get it on about his own 30. He's headed for the near side of the field. Not much territory there. He dances around out of that pack, comes away, still moving to about the 35-yard line.
What a tackle. What a tackle and a nice setup here by Sean Bell. I thought Bell was just going to ring his bell, but he stuck with it, made a big stick, and kept him around the ankles now. Now here's a chance for the Maroons to make some offensive threats.
Indeed it is. This has been an exciting game. Our thanks for being aboard here on Jones Intercable as we get close to the culmination of the 97 season. Our treat to bring you the Elgin and Larkin game, as we always do throughout the football campaigns. 1st and 10, their own 33. Maroons have 2:43 here to march it up the field. They give it to Bentley, who hands it off to Roby. Roby will not get much. Kind of some trickery there, John Prigge, as Bentley in the quarterback situation handed off to Roby. Bentley wanted to fake like he was going to pass and thought they maybe would catch the Royals looking for that.
Looks like he had a nice hole there, too, but it closed up quickly, and Roby couldn't get there whilst it was open.
Couldn't hit it quick enough. Sets up really no gain. I thought he picked up maybe a yard, we'll say. 2nd and 9, 34-yard line. 2:15 remain. This is it for the Maroons. They're going nowhere. They're not going to the playoffs, so they're working for pride right here, trying to come up with an upset here in the second half against the Royals. Man in motion, it will be Roby. Roby, along the sidelines, he dances. Bentley wants to pass. He looks to the right. He'll throw that way. He does. Is it caught? I believe it is. If it is, it's going to be maybe a yard or two at best. It is a reception, is it not?
Looks like Min Kim caught that pass.
Was that 2 yards tops? It's going to set up maybe 3rd and 7. 3rd and 6. Mark that at the 37-yard line, we'll say.
They've got to convert here because you've got 1:35 and the clock winding down here in the 4th quarter, and you're down by 6.
Clock is sprinting here. 90 seconds remain. 3rd and 6 it is. This is it. Well, 2 more downs here in this situation. Bentley, shotgun. He'll get the snap. Looks, continues to do so. Into the flat, fakes it. He'll toss it. Almost in desperation, out of bounds. Bedford was open on the near side.
Well, I don't think the play called for him, but you can see Bedford right now going back to the huddle, talking to Bentley, and said, you know what, I think that's the 2nd time I was open, and I'm sure he's yelling, so maybe he can kind of check that play off if he sees everybody covered up. So, again, now a new backfield coming in for the Maroons. Justin Becker's coming in, and so is Michael O'Donnell.
4th and 6, 1:15 remain. There is no tomorrow. There is no additional play drive. There'll be a timeout there, as we do have an injury for the Royals.
No, just a timeout by Larkin.
Larkin called that timeout, so we'll keep it right here. As the fun thing's going on, we appreciate all our great crew. Herb Wettstein, you've been hearing his comments throughout the broadcast, along with John Prigge. We also enjoy Rich Hirschberg, his fine work. You know everybody here, almost two, but the cast is too big for me to mention everybody. Ben Erickson, who is a Larkin grad and proud of it, now goes to ECC. And they're coming out of the woodwork. John Prigge had some of his school chums coming up here to say hello at halftime. 1:15 remain. Well, this is it. 4th and 6. If you ever could say everything for season to remember rides in this one play, here it is. If the Maroons can get the first down here or a touchdown and come away with a tie or a win situation, they'll remember this play for a long time in their lives. Bentley drops back, looks. Has he got time? Looks. It's got it to O'Donnell. He's caught it. 1st down, Elgin at midfield.
Well, he made a nice pattern on that play there. He just stuck with the pattern. He was able to get off of the sidelines well, and then he lost his defender. And credit Bentley in finding him right, cutting across the middle in a Tom Waddle type of play from the Bears.
Oh, they're going to call a timeout before the clock began to roll as the chains were moved up. 1:08 remain. The Maroons burn that timeout. They've got to go half a field to tie this thing up.
I don't think Dale Schaber wants to be in this position here at all. I don't think that he is too excited about the defense. I mean, they're playing their hearts out, both teams are, but to have Elgin so close to striking now with the ball at midfield, and they've got a fresh set of downs and got 1:08 left to go in the game, I don't think Dale Schaber expected he'd be in this position.
I don't think so. He'll think his troops didn't have the killer instinct on this Friday night to put the Maroons away. Larkin led at one point 21-0. They struck on 3 long passing drives and looked like they pretty much had the game in tow. In fact, the first points that the Maroons would score, if I can say that, were from a safety. So that means that Larkin had the football there. So it turned around from that point. 1:08 remain. You see it. It's going to be 1st and 10, just shy of the midfield for the Maroons. Bentley is the quarterback. Shotgun formation. Bentley's got it, looking, can't find anybody, scrambles, tosses upfield. It is almost intercepted by the Royals.
Boy, that sunk a lot of hearts there as that pass was missed and not completed by the Elgin Maroons, and it got a lot of hearts starting on the other side of the field, Jeff, with the hopes that for the Larkin Royals that it could have been intercepted.
I think we're seeing Teddy go out on these plays. He'll still try to get it to Bedford somehow. Again, Bedford doesn't catch that many passes, but caught one that took it all the way to the 1.
On that last play, he lined up on the left end, and now he's in the backfield.
He is back in the backfield. He might come out of that. 2nd and 10, although he's in there for blocking purposes here. Bentley looks, not much time, scrambles, short to Roby, midfield, shoots to the 45. Roby still on his feet. He's going to get to cross field to almost first down, taken out of bounds.
Wow, what a play. He made a lot of yardage up just on his own intuition right there because he had nothing open on the left-hand side and then decided to take kind of a gamble and run towards the middle of the field, and it paid off.
Just shy of the first down, 3rd and 1. Clock stopped because he was knocked out of bounds, but there's only 49 seconds remaining. Royal fans on the edge of their seat. Maroon fans ditto. And we're going to take a quick timeout. We're back to wrap up the play after this. While we were away, Elgin, a little swing pass in the flat to Roby, was short of the first down. 4th and really inches for Elgin. 38.8 seconds remain. Maroons trail by 6 in a thriller here at Memorial. 21-15 is the count. Let's see how they play. Probably the quarterback keeper. It is. D'Amato falls forward. First down, Elgin. Now they've got to get up quickly. The chains will be moved up. Then the clock will start again. 36.7 seconds remain in this tilt.
Kelly Rice telling his team just to throw it down, ground it, just drop the ball, take the snap, and throw it right down on the ground.
They will down it here as quick as they can to really stabilize and get their thinking process going. D'Amato, there's the down, if you will. 2nd and 10 it will be. And now Kelly Rice will be able to talk it over with QB D'Amato for a That's Bentley back in there now with him for a moment. Ooh, what a second half it's been.
I was going to say, who would have thunk it? Coming into this game here, you know, Larkin was, despite their tough loss against Lake Park last week, you would think that they would be still a heavy favorite here with the Maroons being in a big jam. But, boy, this is a barn burner. It is. Shotgun formation, Bentley. Bedford will line up on the line. He'll be out there somewhere for Bentley to look at. Wide receivers near and far. Bentley looking. He's going to throw middle of the field. It is knocked down, but caught by one of the Maroons. I don't know if
An offensive lineman caught that after it was touched by somebody.
That looks like Jamie Luzinski made the block on that, knocked that ball down, and that resets it now, makes it a third and 10.
It'll be 3rd and 10. Could be caught after it was touched by somebody else, so that illegal pass, just no yard making on that. So 3rd and 10 it will be, and the 40-yard line will be marked at.
As Becker goes in for Bedford.
27.9 seconds. 2 more downs of the season. The Maroons can come away with a wonderful victory, or Larkin can hang on to the victory for them. Bentley looks, tosses. This is going to be for everything. Into a crowd. Who's there? It is boxed around and almost caught by a Maroon.
Unbelievable.
Like Peterson almost got that.
Boy, this is the type of games that you see on ESPN, you know, 3 or 4 times a day. Tipped around, and then almost nailed down by Pedersen. We would have need some halcyon for that one, right?
Boy, we would have been in the play of the day on ESPN, no doubt, for that thing. With our Jones Intercable camera crew right there. We'd be shipping that to Connecticut had that gone. That was close. Some of the Royal fans on the far side are just beginning to get that blood circulating through the hands again. Boy, the Maroon fans are still alive. They're breathing.
4th and 10.
19.7 seconds remaining. Even if you get the first down, there's not much left here. You got to score.
Got to get it now.
Got to throw it long. Here it is, Bentley. Looking, dancing, running.
He's got to throw it. He's got to throw it.
Even somewhere. He throws it to no one, really. And that's the season for the Maroons on 4th and 10. No one was there.
No, he had no choice. He had to throw that ball. The way he was running towards the Larkin sidelines, there was no way that he could have ran for that first down going at that angle with all that pursuit.
And all the Royals have to do is take a snap, and they've won this game, their 6th victory of the season. Elgin wraps it up in fine style. That was a gritty, gutty second half. It looked like they were dead when they were down 21-0. They fought back and scored in the 3rd quarter. They scored in this 4th quarter, 21-15, and they had the Royal fans thinking when they tossed it all the way to just about the 2 on a 3rd and long.
Boy, and I think Larkin is kind of dodging a bullet here. You know, the way they've been playing the second half, I haven't been really impressed with Larkin. But I'll tell you who I've been impressed with on the defense for Larkin. It's been Vince Weber. How many times have we called his name out, batting down a pass and making some open field tackles? So Weber's playing a good game on the defense here for the Larkin Royals. And you're right, Jeff, with 10 seconds left to go here, 10.8 to be exact. And the Maroons down 21-15. Now it's just play smart for Matt Schabert, and I'm sure that's what Coach Dale Schabert is telling his team as they have called a timeout.
Yeah, they want to make sure they know what they should be doing here, and don't try to hand it off, don't try to get fancy in any sort, and just take this victory and wait for the IHSA to call potentially with a playoff situation, which we know about by now, of course, as you watch the tape delay here on Jones Intercable. So here it is. Again, we're proud of both teams. We play no favorites, whether it's Elgin or Larkin, of course, here in the broadcast booth of Jones Intercable. Nice competitive game always helps out. We certainly have this here in the 100th year of sports at Elgin High in the 35th anniversary season for Larkin. There's movement on the defensive line there before the snap took place. So it was a fun game indeed here. Both coaching staffs can be proud of their team. The comeback by the Maroons. Larkin with their offensive force early shows you what they have for next season as well. What they can do with the passing game, as Matt Schabert, the fine QB, is just a sophomore. Here's the final play of 97 regular season for these two teams. That's it right there, as it was down, and the final score will be Larkin 21, the Maroons 15, and that's how 1997 wraps up, John Prigge.
Well, it's been a great year for the Elgin Maroons and for the Larkin Royals as far as competitiveness goes. I'm sure Coach Kelly Rice was hoping for a better record than 2 games below 500, and I'm sure the Larkin Royals too were looking for 1 or 2 more wins this year. But again, who knows? You'll know as you're watching this game if the Larkin Royals season has ended. But again, a lot of good future prospects on both teams. Both teams, I think, a little more on the Larkin side with the good sophomores they have there and class individuals. No matter how you look at it, as the teams do something that I think is excellent, especially in a crosstown game, shaking hands at center field.
Yeah, you find your loved one out there, and the fireworks beginning here suddenly. We might swing our cameras a little bit as you see the players, because we're having quite the fireworks show going off. Passing plays, John Olish of 49, 6, and 23 yards. That was the scoring for Larkin. Look at that display right there as we wrap things up here. As we see the lights, and for the Maroons, they would score in the second half. DiPiazza, the touchdown pass from D'Amato, 20 yards with 1:23 remaining. 21-8 as Star Trek comes to Elgin here. Look at the fireworks show there. I don't know if this has ever been done at the end of a game here at Memorial Field, but we're seeing it right now. A 3-yard run by D'Amato with 5:04 remaining in regulation. The extra point was good. That got us to the final of 21-15. Your mission, should you accept it, is to record this game on Thursday. If you're watching us late night Tuesday, you can see the game in its entirety as you look up in the sky and see fireworks over Memorial Field. Kind of attractive.
Well, they are crunching, aren't they?
They really are. Yeah. Spock, come here. Star Trek so close. Oh, boy. So that's going to be the show. We're going to bid you adieu here as we get ready to wrap up. This is just like July 4th again. That's right. As we enjoy the fireworks. And we say so long to our great cast and crew here, if I can still talk, as the fireworks scene. Repeating the final from Memorial Field. It was a Larkin victory, their 6th of the year, as they knocked off the Maroons by a final tally of 21-15. Our thanks to Al, John, and Bill, and of course Ben Erickson. Yours truly, Jeff Myers, John Prigge, my radio partner and our television partner for these Elgin Larkin games. And how about the best food man in Elgin and the Chicagoland area, Larry Gerber, the barbecue man. Would you give him a call and tell him you enjoy all his work and you'd like to get in touch with him? 289-4477. Of course, our thanks to everyone here at Jones Intercable for bringing this game. Repeating that final on a fireworks Memorial night. It was Larkin 21, Elgin 15 for John Prigge and the great cast and crew. I'm Jeff Myers. Happy fireworks and good night, everybody.